listeners. Welcome back. Welcome everybody. I feel like I kind of did the same thing last week. Sometimes I have a pithy thing to say, and sometimes I just yell into the microphone. So
I wasn't here last week, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay, all right. Well, it's brand new for you. Well, everybody, hey, get ready for the most exciting podcast here on the internet. It's RageSelect Podcast, right here on RageSelect. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
John, you're back.
Yes.
It's time for another podcast.
Yes.
We got exciting news this week. This is another weird week where we've got like one really big exciting story and then a bunch of other stuff that I don't know how exciting it is. But that's not an excuse for you listeners to tune out. Do not tune out. Do not at least listen to part one. Come on, the metrics need it. Yeah. So John, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
You know, relatively.
Sure.
You know, there's stuff that I feel like the listeners don't need to know.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm doing good.
Okay.
Like, life's good. Life's I am happy in a weird
I love the way you said that. It's so incredulous. Like I'm happy.
Yeah.
I feel lighter.
Yeah. I went to a concert this last weekend, so that was fun.
Who'd you see?
One band that I'm a big fan of. It was Ska West Fest.
Okay.
Formerly known as Ska by Ska West Fest, but then they got sued by
South by Southwest.
Yeesh. So they had to change the name to just Ska West Fest.
Okay.
But one of the it's a bunch of bands, but one of the bands that I specifically wanted to see was a band called Younger Than Neil. I'm even wearing the T-shirt
You
right
are.
now. But they're a band from Denver that I'm a really big fan of.
Okay. I think I talked to a man about that. That's a Scott Pilgrim reference? Or no, wait.
The band name is Scott. Yeah, is a Scott Pilgrim reference, but they're a really great band.
We talked about that on one of the Elden Ring episodes.
Yes.
At patreon.com/RageSelect.
Yes. But also saw some new bands. There was like a chiptune ska band.
That sounds cool.
They only had like one guy. It was literally just one guy. But
just hit the space bar.
The name is like Loser, spelled Louser.
Sure.
If you want to look it up.
Well, it's a modern tech company, so you know it's gonna be spelled.
And then there was, I'm trying to think of all the band names. There was Madeline, which was the headliner, which they were really great. There was Los Galerudos, I think is how you pronounce their name, but they're an local Austin band. And then before them was just Fairweather Enemies. It was kind of a newish ska band that I was really big on.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun.
That's good. Where was it?
It was at Kick Butt Coffee.
Kick Butt Coffee. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. It's always at Kick Butt Coffee, which I really like the venue. I would say the biggest. It was technically a 2-day fest. One was in Austin, and the other one was in another city in Texas.
Denton?
Yeah,
No.
Denton, Texas. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then, but we were day 2 of this little fest, and yeah, it was day 2 was a lot of fun and a lot of great bands and a lot of great music. I took a lot of pictures that I have yet to even do any photo touch-ups on that I'm really happy with.
Sounds more like a Frank West Fest.
Yeah, so I take a lot of I take a lot of pictures. I'm actually becoming a bit of a photographer in my spare time lately as a hobby.
Okay.
So, you know.
Well, there you go.
And I go to events and I take a lot of pictures. Like I went that same day, earlier in the day was Free Comic Book Day. And I took my camera to that and took a bunch of pictures at Rogues Gallery, Comics and Games in Round Rock, Texas.
Oh boy. Now wait, are you how far down the rabbit hole have you gone? Are you just taking pictures with your phone, or do you have like
I have a DSLR camera that I've had for like almost like 7 or 8 years that I take with me to do these photos.
Okay, so you're spending you're spending like the amount of money that a new car costs on like a lens cover and like lighting gels.
I don't buy like lighting gels or anything like that. You know, not for this stuff. But I mean, I've had this camera for, like I said, for like 7 years. Bought it like back when it was brand new for like a couple like $1,000 or whatever.
Okay.
I think I used like a tax return. Like I was like, oh, tax return, buy a camera.
Okay.
Kind of because I had nothing else to do.
Sure.
And I've had it, and I usually take photos of action figures and stuff in my apartment with it. And lately I've been doing more stuff of like going on long walks and taking pictures and then going to events like wrestling shows and concerts and stuff, and sometimes I take pictures. Less at the wrestling shows because we haven't gone to very many lately, but I did take it to one wrestling show a long time ago.
See, now all you need is a zombie outbreak. You're ready to go. You're going to get those action shots. You're going to get those horror shots. You're going to get all those that sweet PPE. And, save all the people in the mall.
Yeah, but no, the concert was great, though.
Cool. Well, that sounds like a blast. I haven't left my house in, was it like 5 years, 6 years now to go anywhere?
That was the first time I've left my apartment. That concert was the first time I've left that apartment in like a month and a half.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of, it was a kind of a weird transition, but speaking of wars, I watched a movie last week that was interesting called Warfare.
Okay.
This is like a A24 movie. And it's very specifically about like a bunch of soldiers in the second Iraq War, like during a battle. And it's like Alex Garland, who did like Civil War and Ex Machina and that stuff. He kind of directed it, but then it was like co-directed with like one of the guys who was actually there. As it was about like 2 SEAL teams, and then the entire thing was done from their perspective, and then it all took place in real time. So there weren't any time skips or anything. It was all just like this one conflict, because it was like 90 minutes long, and it kind of just moved through this one very harrowing encounter. And it was,
that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah,
that actually sounds interesting.
Very realistic.
I like movies that do that.
The only actor that I recognized in it was the guy. I forget what that guy's name is. It's the guy from Bandersnatch. He's a really weird looking dude. The Netflix thing.
Bandersnatch?
Yeah, the Choose Your Own Adventure Netflix. He's been in a bunch of other stuff. This guy. He's
I don't know who that is.
A bunch of other stuff. What the hell? Oh my God! Just tell me his name. Tell me his name. Okay. Anyway, that guy was in it. There was a few other people. Was it Finn? White? No. Will Poulter. That's his name.
Oh,
Will
is it
Poulter.
the dude from the Star Wars games?
Sure. He was in the Star Wars games? Which ones?
Is he not the actor that plays the main character in the
Force Unleashed?
No, the newer ones, but the Respawn games.
Oh, is he? I don't know. Maybe.
Fallen Order?
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, isn't that him?
I don't know.
Sorry, you're showing me a picture and it looks like him.
I don't think it is. I think it's a different guy. I don't know. Someone will say that. Anyway,
I could be wrong.
It was not action packed. Like, it was interesting watching it, because the closest comparison that I think I have is to Black Hawk Down. And Black Hawk Down is an interesting movie. And I don't know, Joe, we're maybe wandering out a little bit onto a limb. I'm going to take like one little step onto a limb here, but I don't want to go too far out on it. Like, Black Hawk Down is an exciting movie with like one-liners and soundtracks and really dramatic like camera shots and stuff. This was very real and very, very horrifying. Is it?
Also, I'm wrong.
Okay. Very realistic, very horrifying, very like, just some bad shit happens. Like, the second half of the movie has some people, that are just laying on the ground screaming in agony, like through the entire background. There's no music in any part of the movie. It's all just like, it's very, very stark. So it's not going to be a movie for everybody. It was definitely interesting, but it was not like fun. I don't know. Like, I think about when I watched Civil War, that was like an interesting movie, but it was like an entertainment product. This felt like it was rubbing up against like almost like a documentary, because like at the end they literally go through and they show the actors, and then they show the actual soldiers that every actor was playing a specific soldier. They have a little behind the scenes where they show that like some of the surviving soldiers were there showing the actors how to move, where to go, basically saying like, this is what I did at this moment in this conflict, to try to make it like as like accurate as humanly possible. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. It's an interesting movie. Again, I don't know that it was like an enjoyable experience, but it was an interesting experience. So, and I don't know how you feel about this. A24 has been like kind of in a weird slump this year. Like, a lot of their movies are just not getting very good reviews, and so I haven't watched a bunch of them. Like that Death of a Unicorn movie came out not too long ago, and there was that one that has John Malkovich about it's like a music cult kind of thing with what's her face from the Bear, the lady from the Bear. All of them have gotten pretty low ratings. Like, and in the past, I'm looking at something like Lamb that I suffered through that got really high ratings, even though it was like, a lot of. I get what was going on in that movie. I'm not stupid or anything, but like it was a very slow, very quiet movie. So I'm not sure what's going on with A24 right now, but at least this one was good. You know? So it was. It had good scores and it came out on VOD, and I was like, show it to me. Show me what you got. So, what about you? You watch anything, play anything outside of going to ska shows?
I'm trying to think. Saw Sinners. Playing video game wise, I started playing Dredge, which is not new, but it popped up on Game Pass, so I'm playing it.
Sure. I assume, from everything I've heard, everybody has loved Sinners. I haven't run into anybody so far who has been like, man, whatever. Sinners.
I thought it was excellent. It's an excellent movie.
Yeah.
Beginning to end. Probably, I feel like we're still too early to call it, but so far, it's probably one of the best movies of the year.
Okay.
For me. Yeah. For me personally. I also haven't been going to the movies as much as I would like.
Sure.
So, like, I've wanted to watch Thunderbolts. Haven't been able to.
Yeah.
So, I haven't really had a chance to go to a lot of movies lately.
What are your thoughts on Dredge?
Dredge, I can totally see why it was as people were highly touting it. It's definitely got an addictive game loop.
Yep.
Where you can kind of just shut off your brain and just vibe.
Yep.
And do the things and kind of forget that there's a story also being told.
It's not very long either.
No,
it doesn't take a million years to get stuff done in that game.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like I think I'm after like the third artifact that you go after or can go after, and I'm just now getting to some of the more stuff. But like as far as upgrades go, like because I just shut my brain off and just fished.
Did some grinding.
Did some fish grinding. But like I've also like there was a period of the game where I was kind of avoiding sailing at night because the game is very much like, oh, you don't want to sail at night.
Right.
Because that's when crazy stuff happens.
Ooh.
So I played a large portion of the game without sailing at night, only to find out like, oh, well, there's only it gets to a point where you're like, well, where the hell is this creature that I'm fish that I'm supposed to fish? Well, you can only fish for it at night, you idiot.
Yep.
And so then I'm like, oh, okay, so I have to be out at night, and then have had some really cool experiences where I'm like sailing in an area that I've first time ever being in, and I can see a city in the background and the lights, but it's like so dark you can't really see anything, but you can tell that there's lights, and then you see like a boat moving, and you hear the foghorn from the boat, and it's like, oh, cool. And I'm sailing, and I'm like, well, I'm going in that direction, so I'm gonna sail by that boat. It wasn't a boat. It was not a boat.
It wasn't a boat.
It was just a really cool moment of just like, oh, that was that little moment of gameplay. It was like, oh, that's good.
Yeah. I'm glad. Didn't they added a thing to that game where it was like you can simplify all of the fishing mini games or something? Because I think that was the thing that I did it, but I kind of got tired of doing the little mini games every time you're dredging or fishing or doing whatever, like after a certain amount of time. I thought there was a patch where they added something in where you could just like,
if they did, I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't messed with it. I've just been playing it however it is on default, playing it for the first time. Don't have access to any of the DLC.
Yeah.
Because it's, again, Game Pass. But there's a part of me that's like, well, maybe if I, next time I have some money, I'll buy the complete edition or something.
The Frozen Waste, I played through, I finished the game and then I played the Frozen Waste in order to play the Iron Rig, I guess, because I wanted to see what that was all about.
Yeah.
And the Frozen Waste was pretty good. Iron Rig was pretty good. It was just like kind of more mechanics, more different stuff.
Yeah.
It was fine. I was never quite as blown away by that game as everybody. Like, people were just like, fucking my game of the year. And I'm like, are you?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it that.
Play a little bit more, a few more games there,
yeah,
pal.
I don't think I'd call it that, but it was definitely, obviously when it's not, didn't come out this year, but
sure.
I wouldn't call it game of the year for any year, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like I'll say it's I'm having a lot of fun playing it. Outside of that, I've been, I played a little bit of Expedition 33.
Oh, Claire Obscure.
Yeah, I'm still somewhere near the beginning.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many hours I've actually played, but I'm enjoying it. It's I have little frustrations with it that would probably keep it from being Game of the Year.
Yeah.
So far, let me just say so far, because we're still very early in the year.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of games coming out.
Yep.
But like, it was definitely a shock of like, holy shit, where did this game come from? Like,
it's been on my radar for like 2 years now, so it wasn't a shock at all to me. But I get it. Like, if you're not obsessively paying attention to this stuff,
I do wish there was a little bit more exposition to explain what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Even from a character of I don't know what's going on, but because characters seem like, well, this is the way things are now. What are the way things are? I don't know what's going on.
Right.
Like you're acting like this is normal. You've been experiencing this for years. I'm just playing for the first time. I don't know. Like I literally was like, is there a cutscene that I somehow missed?
Yeah.
That explains everything?
I mean, from what I saw of the game, it seems like it's one of those slow burn. We're going to get to like a JRPG, right? Where you start out and everybody knows how the world works, and then it turns out, oh, we're actually in a dome. Oh, this is actually a simulation. Oh, it turns out God is an evil child or something. But
yeah.
Well, speaking of games that will not be Game of the Year this year.
Oh, okay.
We got a big new trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6.
Oh, is the reason it's not going to be Game of the Year is because it's not coming out this year?
It's not coming out this year. It's coming out next year.
Are we sure it's coming out next year too?
So I was reading through articles about this, and like they did say that GTA 5 and Red Dead 2 both had 2 delays. One that delayed to summer, and then one that delayed it, then a second delay to finally get it out. I don't know. I mean, maybe. The thing is that if we've all learned anything over the last few years, you don't want to rush it. All right? I want the game to come out when they want to put out the game. Yes, I want to play it. Yes, it looks amazing, but I don't want a half-finished, fucked-up, buggy version of it. I want the real good version on day one, and if that means I got to wait until fall of 2026, that's fine. If it means I got to wait until 2027, I don't like that, but I will wait. But we got a big trailer. This one was very different. The first one was like Rockstar kind of has a thing where the first trailer is environmental.
Yeah.
And then the second trailer has a lot more character stuff.
Yes.
I actually went back and watched some of the other Rockstar trailers, like the GTA 4 and the GTA 5 trailers. This one doesn't have quite as much like explosive action in it as a lot of those other ones did, which I think has been kind of an interesting thing because it really focuses on the relationship between the two protagonists. Anyway, let's get. What are your first impressions? What do you think?
It looks good. Like I'll be honest, it looks good. Like I'm honestly like, okay, is this going to look this good when I'm eventually playing it on my console?
Yeah.
Or is this going to be a thing where it looks really good and then when it comes out, it's going to look at PC maybe not as good, but close to being as good on PC, but on console, not that much either.
Okay. So that's interesting. I'm going to jump forward a bit in a few stories. One of the things that you see at the end of this trailer is it says captured on PS5.
Okay.
And they were like, that's not for real, right? And like the developers came out and were like, yes, it is. And when we said PS5, we didn't mean PS5 Pro. We meant this was all captured on a PS5.
There's a PS5 Pro?
Yeah. It's right there.
Okay.
Wait. Well, yeah, that's what it's called, right? PS5 Pro.
I thought it was just PS5.
No, there's like a PS5 Pro.
Okay, I'm so out of the loop when it comes to PS5 because I don't own a PS5 of any kind.
Oh yeah, no, it came out last year, $700, and it's got like more video RAM and stuff.
Okay, my mind is. Look, I have a history of talking about things and being so 100% sure that I know what I'm talking about, and then people pointing out very clearly that I am talking with such conviction and certainty that they start questioning what they know, and it turns out I'm full of shit.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm aware that I do this?
No, I know there's a PS5 Pro because I'm looking at it because I bought it.
Okay.
I just couldn't remember if it was called something else. But yes.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Like I know. I'm saying I realize that I do this, and this is one of those moments where I'm questioning what I know.
Yeah. So we can break it down a little bit. Like, the trailer seems to have, what are the two characters? Like Jason and Lucia are the two main characters. We see this Jason character. He obviously works as like a loan shark or like an enforcer for kind of this guy that shows up at the beginning. We see him taking like money out of a register, and then we see him going to the prison to pick up Lucia. All the girls love Jason. There's like multiple points in this trailer where people are just like hooting and hollering at him.
Yeah.
He shows up at the prison, and then she kind of comes out, and then there's just kind of a big montage of the two of them like being domestic, being sexy, doing crimes, doing all kinds of stuff,
doing sexy things,
doing sexy crimes, doing domestic crimes, doing domestic sex, doing sex domestic. Whatever. So here's the thing. I cannot believe how good this looks.
It looks really good. Like I will admit, like someone pointed it out in an article or whatever where they talked about it, where if you actually look, because in most video games, when you see people move, like the models will look really, really good.
Yeah.
But if you actually look at people's musculature, it doesn't move right because it's not designed to.
Right.
The muscles apparently are moving correctly on this.
Yeah, like sometimes if you see like a character like lift up their arm and then you take like the shirt off of them, it'll look weird. Like the model will look weird. But
this it doesn't.
Yeah, the faces and one of the first things that struck me was in the very beginning when it shows him like going like out of that convenience store or whatever. I'm looking at the shirts, the way there's wrinkles on the shirts. Like, you know, when you sit down in a t-shirt and then you get up and then on the back there's like little wrinkles, and I'm like, there's little wrinkles on that shirt, like in the way that my shirt has wrinkles on it. And just everything. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's plenty to talk about with like the story and the themes and all that stuff. But just the graphical fidelity, it's like this is like a leap that I've been waiting for. Yes. I feel like when we got to this current generation, this was what I was expecting every game to look like.
I feel like this game looks like what everyone thought Cyberpunk was going to look like.
Yes. And I think Cyberpunk looks good. Don't get me wrong.
It does, but it doesn't look like this.
But there's like a quantum shift. I mean, like the faces look so realistic. And then like the other thing that this is like a Rockstar thing that they're good at, like there's this opening part here with the guy, and they show the guy pulling up in like a pickup truck. This just looks like a regular ass pickup truck. It doesn't look like a game version. This looks like something that I would see driving down the street. Like everything.
Yeah, I expected to see a GMC logo on the front of it. Right. Instead, it says
Vapid. And like, you know, just like the shirts and the beers and the highway signs and the buildings that they're in, they look like real places as opposed to like game places. Like these driving down the street and seeing these kind of like houses in the background, or like what does this convenience store look like? All this shit just looks really realistic, which a lot of times is really hard to do because we know, I don't know what Limgrave in Elden Ring looks like. I don't know if it doesn't look right in the game, right? But I know what Miami is supposed to look like. I know what America is supposed to look like, and this fucking looks like America to me. So I
mean, that's always been something that Rockstar does with their games.
That's true.
Grand Theft Auto 4 looked like New York.
Yep.
Grand Theft Auto 5
looked like California. There were like people taking pictures of Grand Theft Auto 5 and then matching it up to like streets in California to just be like, this looks like this place. Outside of that, I mean, you know, I think this is a really good, like a lot of, you know, we talked about Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 3, all the San Andreas and all that stuff. This Bonnie and Clyde aesthetic is great. It's something different.
Yeah.
Like it's something that's very different. It had been rumored for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that can play off of the mechanic from Grand Theft Auto 5 where you could switch between characters.
Right.
But it's using a dynamic that's completely different. Instead of being 3 characters, it's just 2 characters.
Right.
And it's, you know, 2 characters who are in a relationship, and, you know, how do you... It also feels like in a lot of stuff that I've seen from all the commercials, it kind of comes off like she's the muscle.
I could see it a little bit. Yeah.
A little bit.
They show her
of the two.
in here, like kind of kickboxing, and there's kind of some different stuff.
Like, not to say he's not good at fighting or anything, but it very much comes off like that she is the, like, okay, we need someone to kick ass. You play as her, and she's gonna whoop everybody's ass.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I really, people, it's gotten. I'm sure people remember, but like, one of the coolest things about GTA 5 was the powers that each character had, especially Franklin, because you could do that slow down time in the car thing. And it was like, oh, God, I need that. I don't have the reflexes to do this street race, but I can do it with Franklin because I can slow down to whip through like this tiny little section to get in front of a guy. And it was like, oh, right, because Franklin's the driving guy, and that like makes more sense. I love it. I think that it's also interesting because let me get back out on this limb that I've been on. The relationship dynamics that we're seeing in here are very sweet. And they're different than just the kind of sex appeal stuff. There's a moment in this trailer that every time I watch it, I really love, where Lucia comes in and she's obviously been like picking up trash or doing community service with like the LDC thing, and she just walks over and Jason's on the couch and she just goes and like lays on top of him, and I'm like, you know what? If you've ever been in a relationship, you know that sometimes people just come in and lay on top of you. That's what they want. They're like, I just want to lay on top of you.
And sometimes it's like, hey, I just want to be laid on top of.
Yep. And it's I don't know. It's all very sweet. There's a lot of sexy parts in here. She's got the sexy short dress, a lot of butt shots. This trailer likes Lucia's butt quite a bit. But yeah, I don't know. It's just everything about this is shaping up good. Like,
no, it looks good. Like I'll play it when it comes out.
Yep.
Depending on how much it costs.
Sure. Yeah, that's the question. Well, then I guess that's what it really comes down to, right? Is like, if this game comes out next year and it is $100, will you buy it?
It depends.
Yeah.
Like it depends on my financial situation at the time. It depends on, it also could be a thing where, this could be a thing where something like Game Pass could, maybe not right away, like you're not going to be able to get it Game Pass day one, but something where like maybe a year after it's been out for a little bit, suddenly it's on Game Pass, and I didn't buy it when it came out because I couldn't afford it, but hey, I've got Game Pass, I'll play it, because I mean GTA 5 is on Game Pass.
Yeah, that's true. Also, though, if I'm not mistaken, oh no, it's consoles only, so it's PS5 and Xbox One. Because that was one of the things that one of the stories that I had here was that like there is no PC date, there is no PC anything. Like, this hasn't even been confirmed that there is a PC version of it. It, just like the previous one, is launching on consoles. I'm sorry, PC people, you're probably gonna have to wait a year to get this on PC because they're focusing on consoles at launch.
And now I'm just waiting for them to go, and the entire game is integrated into Grand Theft Auto Online.
Well, there was a weird, I don't know, there's a story, I didn't pick it up because I was pretty sure it was fake, that somebody was saying that like, so there's an anonymous person who made a post online saying this game is done, the single player portion is done. The reason it's been delayed is because the online makes them so much, they do not want that year lag that happened with GTA 5, where GTA 5 launched with the single player, and then it was like a year later that they updated and finally put the multiplayer in it. No, they want this shit day and date to be like, as soon as you're done with that single player, they want you to be able to turn on online, or even skip it entirely and just go straight to the online, because that thing has made them so much money over the years.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll see how it goes. I don't know. The real thing is, like, you make a good point that, like, if this game is $100, like when we're talking about the price of Switch 2 games.
Yes.
One of the reasons that was a little galling was because Nintendo does not lower the prices on their games.
Yeah. Most of their games are still like $60.
Yeah. So like the idea of them starting at 80 means they're going to remain 80 because they'll have like a $5 off sale on Mario Day or something, but like, but they don't get deep discounted the way that like Grand Theft Auto 5, it constantly goes on sale. Like, you can constantly get it for less.
Like, you can go buy Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't know what it's right now, but like you can there are times where you can get it for like $20.
Yeah. Hell, it was free
if not
on the
less than
Epic
that.
Game Store one month, or 1 week. So okay. Oh boy, we yammered through a lot of this. The internet's all about it. I don't know. We kind of got some reactions on the internet. I read these, and it was like, the internet thinks this game looks really good too.
Really?
Oh my god! I don't know if you looked at this, but they put out 70. They also released 70 screenshots.
I did not look at any of the screenshots.
Of the game.
I'll admit that.
I gotta be honest. I looked through these. It took me a while to look through these, but it was just like every one of these looks like box art, like from an older game. Like,
it looks like the box art or the loading screen art,
right? Or just like I don't know. It all looked like this picture of Lucia hitting this punching bag and like all the kind of particles coming off of it. Like, and you know, her hair sometimes looks very good, and sometimes all video game hair has a little bit of difficulty, but it looks about as good as I've seen video game hair looking. But like, I don't know, people pointed out stuff like in this shot, she's got like a drink, like a fancy drink.
Yeah.
And just it looks really realistic. It just looks, I don't know, you know, one of the problems that you see a lot of times, of course I will say, one of the things I saw in the trailer that I want to see, John, is they cut that trailer right before the two of them are getting ready to kiss and right before their lips meet. And I'm like, I've yet to see two video game characters kiss and it not look like two mannequins banging their faces together and twisting around. But, also, it was worth... God, I got so excited about this whole thing. It's also worth noting, people have put a lot of stock in the trailer starts with Jason up on the roof, like repairing the roof, and the guy's like, what are you up to? And he's like, just patching up some leaks, as a reference to all the previous stuff that had happened.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, these screenshots, they look exceptional, just like everything else. But then we also got some pictures of like some of the other characters, and they did a good job of kind of putting them in different locations. I do love it. This Carl guy has this shirt that says "Violence is good, thanks video games," which I think is a good indication that there's still some of that tongue-in-cheek GTA humor in there. But, we also saw some of the other characters that weren't like highlighted in the trailer in a variety of different places. It looks like there's some like, influencers, and there's obviously some parts of the trailer that are dealing with like the cops. But the whole thing just, I don't know. It's hard to keep saying how good it looks, but it really does. It's striking in a way that's just... I know I said it before, but it's striking in a way that is particular because so much of this generation has been like, well, that looks good. It looks like like every game now I feel like looks like what used to be considered a very good looking game, but none of them are like, holy shit, man, I've never seen anything that looks like that before. Yeah. Let's see. From there, we got... we did get the news about the game footage being on a PS5. They said it was equal parts cutscenes and actual in-game gameplay. I think it's a little weird just because GTA 5's cutscenes are in-engine, so it's not like they're pre-rendered cutscenes.
Yeah.
And I feel like some people were like, "Oh yeah, sure, it looks as good, but these are just cutscenes." It's like I feel like most games these days have in-engine cutscenes. Like, I don't know when the last time. What was the last time you think you saw like the game played a movie instead of a
God, I don't remember.
I feel like most of them are like that, right? Like, so yeah, I'm not expecting like a huge dip in quality. Let's see. We also got a news story that was about how moving Grand Theft Auto 6 to May of next year has there was a lot of instability in a lot of companies and a lot of games about when they were going to release because it was previously fall of this year, and everybody was like,
avoid the fall,
get out of the way, like just block out all of October and most of November. I don't know when we're going to release, but it's not going to be then because I don't want to be within 3 weeks of Grand Theft Auto 6. But we do have to wait until next summer for Grand Theft Auto, but this is really good news because it means that everybody can fling open the floodgates and we can have the normal fucking knife fight for your holiday dollars this October. Nobody has to be ginger about when they put out their game. We can all just stack it on up like we normally do. So
So I'm guessing people are thinking that companies are going to start like going, oh, this game that was announced for, or later in the year is going to be a little bit earlier because we don't have to worry about GTA.
I think that there was a couple of big ones
or some games might get delayed a month or whatever for some extra polish.
Right. Like Battlefield, there's supposed to be a new Battlefield this year.
Yeah.
And those typically come out around the same time as Call of Duty. The idea being like, Battlefield, do you really want to get in a fight with both Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto 6, or do you want to launch in February when there's no games out? But, what the interesting, this as well as I do, that like the schedule doesn't get finalized until we only start to see those things firm up around like Summer Games Fest or what used to be E3, right? The first part of the year was very nebulous, and then we would hit July or May, June, July, and we would finally get announcements for later. Now, part of this might have been last week we had a big Borderlands 4 state of play, and that was coming out in like September, I think. They announced the release date, and everybody was like, because that's a 2K published game, right?
Yeah.
And so the idea, September 12th. So the idea being that like, surely 2K would not cannibalize their own profits by putting Borderlands 4 in the same 2-week period, 3-week period, maybe even around Grand Theft Auto 6. But so I don't know. Maybe Randy Pitchford knew that the game was going to be delayed before anybody else.
It's possible.
And he kept it to himself, that jerk. One thing that did happen, though, was last week, Take-Two's stock went down 10% when they announced the delay to next year. So much so that Strauss Zelnick actually had to come out and like reassure stockholders, basically saying like, yeah, man, this game is going to be really big. Like, don't worry about it. Like, it's been, how long has it been? Like 10 years? I got Grand Theft Auto 5 when I worked at Spill, for God's sake. Like 12,
Grand Theft Auto
13?
5 has been on 3 different console generations.
Yeah. It was a PS3 launch title. So, and I don't know if you remember, but they made $1 billion in the first week, I think, of Grand Theft Auto 5. Right now, Grand Theft Auto 6 is projected to make $1 billion on pre-orders before the game even comes out. So this thing is just going to be a license to print money.
Yeah.
And
well, it's like what is it when Grand Theft Auto 4 came out? Everyone was like, "Oh, you're gonna pre-order? We gotta pre-order it. We gotta pre-order it because we gotta make sure we get it." Blah blah blah.
Right.
I literally was like, "That game is gonna be so huge. I bet you anything. On launch day, I could just walk into a place and buy the collector's edition."
Oh yeah.
And sure enough, I did that.
Because everybody just had 1 billion copies of it.
Yes, of the like big collector's edition that came with like a lockbox and a duffel bag and like a bunch of other like stuff.
Yeah. Let's see. No date for the PC version, and that's most of the Grand Theft Auto. Any last thoughts before we move on from Grand Theft Auto 6, John? Anything that stood out to you in the trailer, or
nothing that we haven't already talked about? I mean, the only thing is like you sent me a list of articles and stuff, and I thought one was fun where it was Devolver Digital.
Oh yeah, that's like kind of later down the list.
Oh, okay.
But no, it's fine. It was a little cheeky thing. I considered whether we wanted to put it here or not. Devolver Digital basically, they had tweeted out a long time ago that they would put out a game the same day as Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't say what it was, but they just said, we are going to put out a game the same day as Grand Theft Auto 6. And then when they put out the release date, they tweeted, "You can't escape us. May 26, 2026 it is then." Because Devolver gives no fucks at all. It's interesting, though, because this stuff has, like, this game is so big, it's like seismic shifts because Human Fall Flat 2 doesn't have a release date yet, but the Human Fall Flat Twitter account was like, "We are not releasing May 26th." Like, they're being published by Devolver, and they're just like, "It's not gonna be us. It's not gonna be us, man." I don't know. Can you think of anything in the industry that could compete?
Oh, I don't think anything will compete with it, but I think it's hilarious that I think something should come out the same day.
Yeah.
Like, and I think, Devolver doing something, I think it's perfect for them because it's not going to be like a huge game. It's going to be like some type of small little indie game that was probably always going to do okay for whatever it is.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're like, no, we're going to release it on the same day as GTA 6, they're going to, people are like, I'm buying that game, whatever it is.
I'm going to buy that game, even though, I don't know, I'm going to do like 12 videos on Grand Theft Auto 6. But, yeah. I don't know. Looks great. Can't really think of anything else to say. I think it just all looks amazing. I've watched this trailer a whole bunch of times. I'm glad to see that like we've gone from the overview of the city into the specifics, these like bars and restaurants and stuff like that. So yeah. Well, let's see. Speaking of I talked about Battlefield a little bit, but speaking of Battlefield, we got the news that the next Battlefield is going to have like a big announcement during the basically EA is doing a summer showcase, if I remember correctly, and that they basically come out and said that they are you will be getting like a first look at the next Battlefield. So far, they've had a thing called Battlefield Labs that has been inviting influencers to come in and play it.
Did you get invited, Jeff?
I didn't get invited.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They did. I told them no. I said, you call me back when you make a new Unraveled, and I'll come and look at that. But I don't have it. No, I said, call me back when you're making Bad Company 3. I'm not in it for this multiplayer bullshit. I'm in it for the single player story of the Battlefield Bad Company boys. Yeah, I mean, so far, like some of the stuff that's come out of that looks really good. It's just modern warfare. Things are breaking apart real well. They've got three different studios working on it. What is it? It's like Criterion or not Criterion. There you go. Yeah, Criterion, DICE, and Ripple Effect, which was DICE LA and Motive. 4 internal EA studios all working on this one game. I don't think Battlefield is a bad game, but anytime I hear this, I'm like, why? Why do you need everybody from 4 different studios working on just a game where you shoot people and drive a tank? Like,
because they're such huge IPs that they think that they're too big to fail, but at the same time, they don't want to let anyone down because one bad game can affect future game sales.
Sure.
So they have to get as many people as possible as to work on it to make sure it's as best as it can be, so that even if it's okay, that the next game will still be,
that it doesn't kill the entire franchise.
Yeah.
Well, because 2042 did not do them any favors. Like it took them years to fix that. That game launched without a scoreboard and voice comms and shit. Like, it was very weird. I remember it's like a month after it came out where they were just we've integrated a scoreboard back into the game, and it was like, what, that wasn't in there? What are you doing? So let's see. In other EA news, I don't know, this one's kind of weird. We'll wrap up with this one and then we'll take a break, but like so this is a YouTube video that came out this week from Mark Dara, who used to be like one of the higher ups at BioWare.
Okay.
And it's like a 15-minute video. This guy's he did another video, I think, that I covered where it was like talking about like harassing the individual developers on a game and saying like those people didn't have any like choice over what happened with this game, right? Like if you're mad at Dragon Age Inquisition, like don't harass like the animators. Like they didn't have any decision about the way that the story was going to go. Anyway,
also don't harass the voice actors.
Or just don't. Yeah. Anyway, he talked about this, and he basically kind of, I recommend everybody go watch it. It was a pretty decent thing, and it kind of talks. This isn't about EA, more BioWare than EA, but he talks about how the Dragon Age team, the team that was making Dragon Age Inquisition, was starved to death for about a decade because they took him off. He was like a head developer on that, and they literally took him out of that and then brought him in to work on Andromeda in the final days of Mass Effect Andromeda being created.
Yeah.
And it became this thing where it was like they kept moving high-level personnel like from other teams onto whatever the project was that was needed, which like really started to have bad damage ripple effect stuff, because like you could bring like animators to do like, you know, grunt work that needs to be done, or like asset creation and stuff like that, but taking the leader of one team and then moving them over to another team because you need more management on this team, like that, taking away management of any team is going to have a bad effect on them. One of the most interesting things he said was that early on, BioWare, when they were acquired by EA, the team that they reported to at EA was the sports team. And the sports team didn't care what BioWare did. They were just largely uninterested in like looking at it because they had their own thing, and they were like, I don't know, put out your fucking dragons and spaceships games. And that around the Mass Effect Andromeda phase, they were started to be overseen by another team that then wanted to have a lot of input and monitoring and like weekly meetings and status updates. He also talked about how he what was that? Mark, who was the guy? Fuck. The guy they brought back in to work on Anthem. The guy from Mass Effect 2 that everybody doesn't like.
Oh, God, I can't think of his name.
Shit. Let's see if I can find. Anyway, he apparently was brought back in. This guy didn't even know at the time. Like as somebody in management, he probably should have. But I don't know. What it goes to show is that it seems like EA. I don't know. I've been saying this for a little while, John, and I'd be interested to hear what you think about it. It seems like EA has no fucking idea what they're doing right now. Like, they haven't put out anything that's not just like a sports game that's any good outside of, I guess, the people like the last Star Wars game, but that was mostly like Respawn. But EA as a company, EA used to be a good company. You know, they used to put out games that I wanted to play. Burnout and Mirror's Edge and Dead Space and stuff like that. And now they seem to have been hollowed out, kind of like Activision is, where they just kind of put out like this one thing that's very profitable at the expense of everything else. I don't know. Are you feeling that same way?
I don't
Casey
disagree.
Hudson. Sorry, Casey Hudson.
Yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
BioWare has lost a lot of trust from gamers with, you know, not just a lot of, you know, like Andromeda and Anthem and you know, those games not being good.
Yeah.
And just the way that they would, at the drop of a hat, it felt like they would, like you said, they would move people like, okay, this person from this team is coming over to Anthem because holy shit, Anthem is a clusterfuck of terrible before release, and we need to get it done and get it released.
Right.
And every time they brought in someone new, suddenly everything would change, and like it was just
I'm just wondering, like, I mean, is it just not worth it to make original games anymore?
Oh,
like,
I think it's very worth it to make original games. I think it's not worth it to try to make franchise IPs. Like, make a single game that has a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
That is the game you want to make, and put as much as you can into it. Release it. It's great.
Yeah.
But the thing is that a lot of these studios, you know, EA wants microtransactions, and
right.
you know, even Activision wants microtransactions, and they want games for service so that people will keep playing it long after they beat the story mission.
Right.
Hell, why even have a story? Make the games of service the story.
Yeah.
And you know, keep them playing for as long as you can, because the day they stop playing means the day they stop paying. And,
right.
You know, this is the problem that we're kind of starting to get to a point of where I think we're getting out of it, but at the same time we're not getting out of it.
Yeah.
We're just used to it, and there's still a lot that gamers will accept.
I think we're just starting to see the failures. We're starting to see larger and larger failures, to the point where it's like the audience is signaling to you that they're tired of this and they want something interesting and new. And business doesn't turn that quickly. Anyway, I recommend everybody go watch it. But with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break.
Yeah.
We come back. We got plenty more news left to go. So stick around. And we're back.
Yes, we're back.
And that means it's time for more news. And we're starting with some more EA news. When we left, we were talking a little bit about EA and BioWare.
Yes.
EA had a recent, I think they did like an earnings call or something, or maybe it just been like one of those stockholder talking to people. And they were asked about whether they had any plans on raising the price of their games because, we had the Switch games.
Microsoft did it.
Microsoft
Switch
did it.
is doing it.
Yep. And they said right now that there are, quote, no changes in the current strategy at this point, which, is about as much as you can expect from a corporate statement about the sort of thing. Not ruling it out, but not right this second. So, I don't know. Do you think that this is going to hold up? Do you think the $80 thing is going to hold up?
I'm going to be honest. I have no idea.
Because last week when we were talking about, or I was talking about the Microsoft raising it, right? It's like, well, yeah, but that's not very impactful because all their shit's on Game Pass, right? So I'm not buying a lot of Microsoft's day one stuff full retail anyway, so it may not have quite as much of an effect. But
and even then, if you do have Game Pass, yes, you get to play it for free, but it's usually discounted on top of that if you decide to buy it.
Right.
So
yeah. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see whether or not. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out in the future. Speaking of Microsoft, we got the news that Gears of War is getting another remaster.
Yes. Gears of War Reloaded.
For a second time. Did you play the first Gears of War remaster? I think I played it at some point.
Yeah, I think I played it at some point.
I've never been the biggest fan. Gears is, I don't know, never clicked with me.
I love the first 3 Gears of War games.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the trilogy. It's something me and my roommate, or at the time of their release, me and my roommate would play pretty regularly.
Yeah.
We would even play co-op, on it. So,
it's weird. I liked 5. I think 5 was because I didn't really get in on it back when it was the Marcus Phoenix stuff. I really mostly got into it when it was in the sequel trilogy, and I kind of liked the last one of those more. But
yeah, well, I played 4 and I liked 4.
Yeah.
I liked what little I played of 5. I never beat 4 and 5. I've never beaten.
Yeah.
But I've played enough of them, far enough into them that I know that I liked both of them. Mm-hmm. I just was kind of like, all right, I'm done with these
more guys with chainsaws on their guns. No, yes,
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So this is coming out in August, and we don't really have any information on it. We don't really know. I'd be interested to see how much more remastered it's going to be than the previous one. But obviously, this is a reason to put Gears of War on the PlayStation, because they're going to be putting it out on the PS5 in addition to the Xbox and the PC, because Microsoft is now, they've opened the floodgates, right?
Yeah.
Turns out, the more consoles that your thing is on, the more money you can make. And Microsoft likes money. Yes. So, yeah, I don't think we have much more. There's not much more to it than that, I don't think. And not until at least we get a trailer or some comparison screenshots or whatever. This was very much.
Yeah, I think what I heard is that it's technically not a remaster of the first game. It's actually a remaster of the remaster.
Okay.
It's just bringing the remaster up to
current standards.
Because if I remember correctly, the remaster has been delisted on PC for a while. I think it was, I may have my time frames wrong here, but I want to say the remaster was one of the last games for Windows games.
Oh, okay.
And on PC, and since it doesn't have that.
Oh, the integration with the software. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But and that one I could be totally wrong on. I could be remembering time have bad memory. I admit it.
Yeah.
But
let's see. Gears of War delisted. Let's see if we can find an article. Not to fact check you in real time, but all I'm getting is news for the new one.
Yeah, like you look up anything, you're just going to get news for the new one.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, like, it doesn't seem like it has any additional content. It's all just been confirmed as content from the previous one. And to me, it just seems like an excuse, some paltry update for a new version that'll be on the PS5.
I think I can agree with everyone that I really wish that instead of it just being, we're releasing a Gears of War 1, like, have it be the trilogy, have 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Remaster all 3 of them as a bundle.
Yeah.
And release them and release that as an $80 game. Fine.
Sure.
You get 1 through 3 as an $80 game, but re-releasing 1 as, I don't know if it's going to be an $80 game. They could be like, oh, no, we're remastering it, but it's only like a $50 game or something like that. I don't know. I didn't read a lot of the...
Oh, I mean, there weren't any details. This is basically just like a vague announcement.
Yeah. Like if they released 1 and it's like, oh, it's $40, it's a budget title, but it's a remastered version of that, that's fine, whatever. But I think had they gone, we're doing 1, 2, and 3 as a bundle.
Yeah.
Here's an $80 game. I'd be like, all right.
It's a lot of game. It's 3-ass games in there.
And plus, 2 and 3 have never been remastered.
Yeah. Also, I mean, it wouldn't. So I wouldn't think that it would be an $80 game just because we just saw a rousing success with Oblivion being $50, right? Like that sold really well on Steam on day one in spite of Game Pass and all the rest of it. So, yeah. Let's see another Microsoft news. We also got some leaked photos of the Xbox. I'm gonna put some quotey fingers around this whole thing. The Xbox handheld. This has been rumored for a little while. This is not a Microsoft product. This appears to just be an Asus ROG Ally that has been rebranded and has like a dedicated Xbox button on it right here, which was like a guide button or whatever. Instead of there's also another ROG Ally that has like white plastics and they got like kind of slightly different like handle grips on them or whatever. But yeah, it's supposed to have, there's like an FCC listing that talks about it having Wi-Fi, 7-inch, 120 hertz display, some Ryzen cores, all that stuff. I think this is a relatively decent move for Microsoft as opposed to having to go through development. You just, like if they had done this with a Steam Deck, it would have probably been fine too. Of just like, this is the Xbox Steam Deck. We're going to put our own software on it. We're going to have a dedicated button. You're going to get all the overlay shit. The only thing I think kind of holds it back a little bit is that the ROG Allies are expensive. They tend to be more expensive than the Steam Decks last time I checked. I don't know. Do you don't have a Steam Deck?
No. Want one.
Yeah. Do you think you would use I've always wondered about buying one for myself, but I'm like, I sit in this room right in front of all of my consoles and stuff all the time. Yeah. Do you think you'd have a use for a portable system?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, the people on the Patreon are aware. Every now and then I bring it up. I bought a Playdate.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Having a handheld gaming device. Mm-hmm. Sure, Playdate, it has its function because I can only play those games on the Playdate.
Right.
But yeah, I kind of do play handheld games a lot. Like I'm really looking forward to the Switch 2 because I like handheld consoles. Like I think I've gone more like as I've gotten older. It's weird. I don't know if it's weird, but like as I've gotten older, I want to use desktop PCs less and use laptops and tablets more. And game consoles being handhelds perfectly fine, but also having the option to connect them to a bigger TV, which is the Switch. Great.
Right.
Fucking love it.
Sure.
If I could do that with the Steam Deck, like if there's I
think the Steam Deck does that. I think the USB-C, you can connect to HDMI.
Yeah, connect it to a thing like that. That's great. I would love it. But at the same time, I don't need it.
Yeah. Okay. What would you say would be a good price point for something like this?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah. I guess the current, they just jacked up the price of the current Xbox consoles. $400? Maybe $500 for $350.
I mean, if it is a portable.
Yeah.
But it is a console. Like, it is there. If the claim is this is just as powerful as your Xbox Series S console, not the X, but the S, like, it's just as powerful as the Series S, but it's portable. I would expect to pay maybe basically what you would pay for a Series S.
Wow,
maybe a little bit more.
ROGLI X7, just looked it up on Best Buy's website, $800.
Yeah, I don't think I'd pay that much for it.
Too much. Okay. Well, speaking of portable consoles, I don't know if you were following this, but there was a game show. It was CES 2025 earlier this year. Before the Switch 2 was announced, there was a peripheral, like an accessory manufacturer.
Yeah, that had like these. Yeah,
named Genki, that had like these. It looked like Switch 2s, but they were like they were little.
They were just like shells. They were like,
they weren't functional.
They weren't like actual devices.
Yes, and everybody was like, "How the fuck? Like, what? Nintendo hasn't announced anything yet. How do you even have this?" And it was a little bit of a mystery. Well, the mystery has gotten a little spicy because Nintendo is suing them because they did not have permission to print out a 3D printed Switch 2 and reveal those specifications to the public. Like, whether they got that information internally or whatever. Nintendo is big mad.
Of course.
Big mad.
Yeah.
They also have, everybody knows Nintendo has no chill, but they are suing them for trademark infringement, unfair competition, and false advertising. And what do they want? They want they're asking to like remove a bunch of things, like destroy a bunch of stuff, and then like not use Nintendo's branding or any of their names for things moving forward. Basically, they're just like looking to get whatever they can. Now, I'm not sure if this is a thing where it's like one of those you've got to defend your trademark or else it weakens type of thing. But I guess I don't know. I don't know about you, John, but I don't want to cross Nintendo.
No.
They seem very litigious. They seem like they have no chill for anything. They seem like they are more than happy to get their lawyers on the phone at any point in time. So, Genki responded by basically saying, like, they're an independent company. They've always done things their own way, yada, yada, yada. They're going to fight this thing. I don't know. It was a little strange just because it does answer a mystery that was out there of, like, that seems very weird that you would have a mock-up, an accurate mock-up of this hardware before Nintendo has shown it or announced it or put it out at all. So, I don't know if there's very much more to it than that. So, let's see. Speaking of Nintendo, we got, I don't know, this is like, it's got a kind of a scary headline, but it's sort of a non-story. Nintendo's updated their privacy page to basically say that, like, you have to opt into this, but that the cameras on the Switch 2 will record you during certain actions. This is pretty much standard operating procedure for anything where you might have like a complaint, like if somebody is yelling at you and you complain to Nintendo and you want them banned, then they take the recording of the person that was yelling at you to verify that they were doing that thing. I don't think that having a camera in your house that doesn't connect, like, I'm very aware of when I put a camera in my house that, like, I don't some of these things I really don't have direct control over, especially if it's connected to a console. But I don't know. That's pretty much all there is to it. Like, there's not a lot more. It's not clear whether, if you don't consent to the data sharing, if the camera is still functional, if the C button is functional, if any of that stuff is functional.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Do you think you'll, I mean, I have a feeling you said, you want to Switch 2. What do you think about the whole camera thing? I think we talked about it a little bit when we were talking about the Switch 2, but, like, is that something you would be interested in?
I mean, I have no desire to buy the camera.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember if there's a camera on the device or not.
No. By default, I think there's a speaker or a microphone, so you can hit it and you can do voice comms directly to the controller, but I don't think the camera is a separate SKU.
No, I don't. I don't think I would actively buy a camera.
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't still play enough multiplayer games for it to be even a thing.
Yeah, it's kind of same here.
They did have a thing. I don't know if you saw this. I think this is the week after we recorded, but Hori has like a piranha plant camera.
Yeah. I saw that, and Amanda was like, "I want this," and I'm like, "All right, you realize it's a camera in our house, but sure."
Well, what's cool about it is that the piranha plant's mouth closes.
Yeah.
And then also it's got a USB-C thing where if the switch is docked, you can plug it into the top of the switch, and it just like grows out of the top of the switch. The problem with this camera is it is a 480p camera, which in today's day and age, it's like, where did you even get a 480p camera? Like, who? That's not enough P's, man. Let's see. Moving on from there. Speaking of Switch 2, we got the news that this is more of a rumor than anything else, but we know that the first Final Fantasy VII remake is going to be on. It was announced as one of the titles that's on the Switch 2. There was recently. They were talking with one of the directors, and they basically expressed like, we are excited to bring all of the Final Fantasy VII remake games to the Switch 2.
That seems like a no-brainer, especially if you're doing the first one.
Yeah, I think the question is that the second one didn't run super well, even on the PS5. Like, it was struggling a little bit. And the question is just like, if you can get the first one to run, I don't know if you can necessarily get the second one to run, because there's definitely been, enhancements to the engine and stuff between the two of them. But more exciting than that, John, there's gonna be Elden Ring DLC because of the Switch 2.
Nice.
But not like a big thing. Basically, they've showed off that. Because there's the Elden Ring, the Tarnished Edition, that is going to be out for the Switch 2. I hate Chrome as a browser. It is nonsensical. It's very weird. There's going to be 2 new starting classes in the game.
Oh.
This is what's being added to the game. Is there's 2 new starting classes, and one of them is called like the Knight of Ides, and then the Heavy Armor Knight. And then Torrent is getting cosmetics, and
horse armor.
Yeah. So holy shit, I have no idea what's going on with my browser today.
If it's IGN, IGN's website is garbage.
It really is.
It's IGN's website, I guarantee you.
I was trying to see if I could find the screenshots.
Because they have ads that load in and then load out while you're sitting there. So like an ad that's like twice the size of the page will suddenly appear and like move your text that you're looking at, and then it'll change to a different ad and it'll move again because the ad is different size.
God, I hate the internet. You know who doesn't have ads that load in halfway through you looking at a thing? RageSelect.com. That's because I'm too lazy to put ads on RageSelect.com. But basically what's interesting is this means 2 new armor sets and maybe some new weapons in the game, and then some stuff for Torrent. Like, it's not like story DLC or anything. It's also been confirmed that these will be coming to the console and PC versions of Elden Ring. They're probably going to be paid. They're probably going to be a $10 cosmetic DLC upgrade. Given the number of times that I've bought Elden Ring and how slight this is, I'm not really mad or anything.
I'm wondering if those 2 new character types are tied in any way to the multiplayer spinoff.
Oh, to Night Rain?
Yeah, Night Rain.
I don't think so, because the Night Rain characters, I mean, they don't match anything that we've seen in Night Rain so far. Okay. But possibly. I don't know. I get the impression that's like a whole different thing. Can I tell you, John, that I was thinking about this the other day? I think I'm ready for FromSoft to give me something else. Like Night Rain, I'm excited it comes out at the end of the month. I'm interested in playing it, but like, I'm a little Elden Ringed out at this point. I'm ready for the next thing. I'm ready for whatever it is that comes after this. New Bloodborne, new Armored Core, new whatever.
Whatever that weird multiplayer game is that's coming out on the Switch too.
Oh, the Blood people. Yeah, whatever. God, what was it called? The Dust Bloods.
The Dust Bloods.
The Dust Bloods. Even the Dust Bloods, it's like, well, this is just more Bloodborne, man. Guys, give me something different. Give me Otogi 3. Give me Dark Tower 3. Kingsfield. Give me new Kingsfield in the year 2026. Let's see. Speaking of DLC, we did not get any confirmation. There was a big update to Starfield that added a bunch of new stuff. People are speculating that this might be laying the ground for, because Microsoft has a conference that's coming up with Summer Games Fest the way they normally do, that we might be getting another DLC for Starfield, because it's been a year since Shattered Space came out, and they said they would like to try to put out one large DLC a year for the game, and there hasn't been much else going on. There's not much more to it than that. I keep saying that, but there's just, there's some, there was some general, I don't know. I looked through the patch notes and there's a new graphics mode, and some of the creation kit stuff is a little different, but yeah, I don't know. I'm still waiting for Starfield to get finished. It wasn't really all that fun. I tried playing it when it came out, and I was like, this isn't that fun.
Yeah, I didn't play it for that long. I kind of got bored very quickly.
Yeah, and so I'm kind of waiting to be like, you guys, I think that the game could be made fun, but I don't know how long that's going to take. But I'm just going to wait for the complete edition or something that has all the DLC before I actually try playing it again. Let's see.
Yeah, I think, and here's something I'm going to say, and this is going to be very not controversial, but controversial.
Oh,
I'm
Stunning and Brave.
Yeah, I am tired of having to wait for the game to get good after its release.
Yeah,
I'm done with it. If you can't release a complete game that works and is good and entertaining when it first comes out, then you don't get a second chance. You're not. This is not going to be the No Man's Sky thing where 6 years later you've suddenly turned the game around and made it great.
Yeah.
I'm done. I never went back and played Cyberpunk. I know it's good. I know they fixed it and it's the great game now, but
sure.
I don't care. If it's just, I'm at that point where it's you know what? If you can't release a good fun game on your first try, we're done.
It's getting tiring, right?
Yeah.
It's just it's tiresome of being why does this game have to have an asterisk next to it, and why do so many of these things it has to be there are problems now, but just wait, it's going to get some fixes or blah 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 blah. That Oblivion remaster that came out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are playing it, but I was watching the Digital Foundry on it, and a lot of Unreal Engine 5 games, it has technical problems. It has stutters in the open world and loading and problems of frame hitching.
Yeah.
That stuff will be sorted out. And so my whole thing is that I am willing to give these games a second chance, but it knocks it down in my estimation. You only get one chance for me to be excited on launch day, and then it gets real tempered if I've got to wait 4 years for it to be good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I definitely get it. I've been saying this for a while, that I'm really sick of this generation of gaming, because it seems like everything that comes out is either multiplayer in a way that I don't want to play it, doesn't run real well, for whatever reason, even though I spend an outrageous amount of money on the most modern hardware.
Yeah.
And it still kind of runs like balls. And I'm like, fuck you. What is this? And I'm not even looking for 120. I'm looking for just a solid 60 frames per second is all I'm really looking for. But yeah, I feel it. There's a video down here for Dragon's Dogma 2, which I liked, but I couldn't see any good reason for it to run the way that it did when it came out. Yeah. Let's see. We got some more Bethesda news. They recently had a little... it was kind of interesting to see how close Bethesda is related to their mod community. They had a little feature spotlight on one of the developers, Dan Lee, this guy that did work on the Oblivion remaster, who is a guy who did a lot of work on... It's been at Bethesda for a long time.
Yeah.
Who... was literally calling out the Skyblivion mod team, who are trying to remake all of Oblivion in the Skyrim engine, and how supportive essentially Bethesda is that, because they sent that entire team copies of Oblivion Remastered when it came out.
Okay.
So it's nice to see. I mean, a lot of companies will... I like the way that Bethesda handles mod teams, mods, and the general modding community for their games.
Yeah.
There's already been a shitload of mods for Oblivion that have been kind of interesting. So,
not to say something else controversial yet brave.
Yes.
Bethesda has always relied on their mod teams to fix their games that have been released broken.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. I mean, at this point, they literally have the content creator store where you can upload your mods and
they've constantly relied on their on mods of their games to fix their games.
Hey, you know what? If that's what you got to do to if you got to rely on the heavy on the community, I was part of that talk about Mass Effect Andromeda was the creators saying that, like, when Andromeda came out and it was a flop, EA was like, okay, fucking cancel all the DLC, shove it in a fucking corner, go
pretend it doesn't exist,
eat a bag of dicks, and let's get on to Anthem, right? Like, as opposed to, I was thinking about how, like, that game never got fixed. At least No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk did come into their own after a while, but like a full-on Mass Effect game just got thrown onto the roadside and left for dead. Well, speaking of throwing stuff on the roadside and leaving them for dead, this is a really interesting story. There's been the discovery recently that, so I don't know if you know this, but the Fallout 1 and 2 like source code and a lot of the like docs and stuff for it completely gone.
Yeah.
Gone to the wind. But recently they've been discovered. And the story of this is pretty fun because it's basically one of the people, like Tim Kaine, when he left Interplay, was told to delete everything, like not keep anything. And so he didn't. But one of the people, there's a lady that worked here that was called Rebecca Heineman, and she said in 1993 they put out this CD. This was like a greatest hits thing, and it was like Battle Chess and The Bard's Tale, the original, and like Lord of the Rings, and one of the games on there was Wasteland. And this lady, she had all of the source code for all of those but Wasteland, and she went to the offices to try to get the Wasteland stuff to put out this collection, and she was given like a broken cardboard box full of floppy diskettes that looked like it had been sat on and had stains on it.
Oh.
And she said, from that point forward, I just burned everything and then just started stacking up CD-ROMs of like builds of the games because it was clear that nobody had any interest in archival, preserving that stuff. And so it recently came out that she realized that the internet was like, we don't have the source code for Fallout 1 and 2. And she was like, I have the source code for Fallout 1 and 2. And so now it's just a question of getting Bethesda basically to agree to release them, which would not surprise me because those are older games and there's not really a big, I don't know, Bethesda, it seems likelier that Bethesda more than anybody else would let those go out into the wild and be like, we're not remastering Fallout 1 anytime soon.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a fun little story. So, yeah. Let's see. Speaking of retro stuff, we got a new Echo the Dolphin project on the horizon.
Oh, Echo the Dolphin. Haven't heard that name in to quote Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yep. The creator, one of the original creators, came out. This is Ed Annunziata, and basically said that they are remaking the first two games and then making a third game.
Wow.
But this came with a relatively strange thing. You know when video games are getting ready to announce something and they put a countdown clock on their website?
Is it a countdown to a Kickstarter?
Nope. It's like... If you go to echothedolphin.com, you'll see a countdown clock that is 8,368 hours and 32 minutes.
Oh.
That's like 355 days. The countdown clock started at basically 365 and has been counting down ever since. I don't know that you normally see a 1 year countdown clock.
Interesting. I mean, usually they don't just list the number of hours. They'll usually say like so many days,
right,
so many hours.
Yeah.
Like they'll.
Yeah, this one I was like, I have to do math. I don't know how many hours are in a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there's just nothing else on the website. It's just kind of a nice cooling ocean blue with some bubbles in the background and 8,000 minutes worth of countdown, or hours worth of countdown. So I don't know. Do you think the people are ready for Echo the Dolphin to come back?
I don't think it would. I don't think it's going to be like, the most game of the year, like re-release or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think there are people that'll play it and enjoy it because those were good games.
I was trying to think of stuff from the Sega Genesis that I want back, and I was thinking, like, what if the new Tekken update came out and it turns out that the next round of DLC was the Eternal Warriors from from the Sega Genesis? Yeah. Let's see. In other indie game news, or I guess another maybe sprite-based news, Hollow Knight Silksong has been on everybody's lips for a long time. I don't know if you know this. This is an Australian developer.
Yes.
They're actually going to be having an event in August where you can play Hollow Knight Silksong.
Oh, nice.
Like at this, it's like a museum event called like Game Worlds. And they're going to have like a bunch of different stuff, and it's kind of celebrating Australian stuff. One of the things that happened here was that they put out like a giant sprite sheet for the main character of Silksong, and the internet's having a little bit of a time with this like one specific sprite that has the main character kind of with their cloak off. People have said online, I don't know, the headline on this article was like, why does it look like dad taking off his jacket when he's home from work? And there's a lot of other people of like, oh, I guess we don't need a nude patch on day one because we already have, I mean, the character in Silksong is just a stick figure, right? So, or they have a little body, little black blobby body, but it's mostly their little cape that they have on. But yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about this, and I was like, if they're going to be letting people play Silksong in August at an event, do you think that would be after the game comes out, or to like coincide with the release of the game? They haven't done anything for like the last 5 years for this thing.
Yeah.
So having any kind of event is kind of a weird flex.
Yeah.
I don't know. You never played Hollow Knight, did you?
I played Hollow Knight.
Yeah? Did you beat it?
No.
Oh, okay. I never got it. I never got into it. I don't know.
That's a good game. Yeah.
Tried, but let's see. Devolver Digital. Sony has a new team working on some kind of live service game. I'm going to need your help on this one, John. So this is a bunch of developers. This is a new studio called Team LFG, and it's made of a bunch of people from like Bungie and like a few other, some League of Legends people, some Destiny folks. And what they're making is a live service game. Let's see. Here's the quote. I want you to see if you can tell me what this is. Our first game is a team-based action game that draws inspiration from fighting games, platformers, MOBAs, life sims, and frog-type games.
Okay.
What the hell is a frog-type game? Frogger?
I mean, Frogger is a frog-type game.
Is it just any game that has a frog in it? Frog Detective? Is that a frog?
Yeah, Frog Detective.
But like, that's not a genre. Those are just games with frogs in them. Like, I know what a platformer is, but I don't know what a frog-type game is.
Yeah, that's... Is it maybe all the characters are frogs.
Jumping game? Are all the characters? So that would make... Let's see. So that would be a team-based action game that draws inspiration from fighting games, platforms, MOBAs, life sims, and everybody is a frog. But why? What? Okay. The frog-type games is the one that stands out. But if you move back, a life sim? Like...
Yeah.
Like The Sims?
Yeah.
So you're going to be a sim frog.
Yes.
In a fighting game.
Yeah.
In a platformer fighting game.
So
in a platforming fighting game online, a team-based platforming fighting sim frog.
So I'm gonna talk about something here, and this is kind of public knowledge, but also maybe not.
Uh-oh.
What this reminds me of, that description.
Yeah.
reminds me of what Blizzard was trying to make before Overwatch became Overwatch.
Oh,
The Project Titan.
Yeah.
Because it was a sim game in that you would be an everyday person in a sim type world where you would go to a job and do stuff, and then you would go jump through a portal and it would turn into what Overwatch is,
right?
Kind of thing.
Like a team-based shooter.
Yeah, but you're like a superhero. You have to live your days as a... but it's like trying to do like 6 different things that don't really go together.
Yeah.
And then they tried to make them go together and realized the only thing that's fun is this, 3v3 shooter or whatever, 6v6 shooter, and then just focused on that. And then shelved everything else. So this sounds like the same thing as like they have this big grand design of like, okay, we've got these different things that technically don't really go together.
Yeah.
And at some point, they're going to figure something out, and either it's just going to be a mess, or a lot of that is going to fall away, and it's just going to be one specific thing.
Okay, so maybe a frog type game is like it's like Animal Crossing with a bunch of frog people. That's the life sim part. So playing Animal Crossing multiplayer online with other people, but then you can go into a fighting MOBA platformer in the evening, so you got to work, you got to pay off Frog Nook during the day, and then at night you play
Underground Fight Club,
MOBA Street Fighter, yeah, and then the sun goes down on Animal Crossing, and it becomes Pit Fighter, where all the little Animal Crossings are out there just like, yeah, fuck them up, man.
And there's frogs fighting each other,
with a bunch of frogs, and it's all frogs.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I can think of when they say frog type game. I'm like, but why? But what? That doesn't mean anything. That's like, I don't know. That's like saying banana chair. It doesn't mean anything. I don't know what a banana chair is. I don't know what a frog type game
it's a chair
is.
that looks like a banana.
Is it? Or is a chair made out of bananas? Is it a chair that tastes like bananas? Is it just a yellow chair? It's a chair that's banana yellow?
It's in the shape of a banana.
I kind of want the banana
like a
chair.
banana hammock. It's a hammock that sits like a banana.
It's also a Speedo.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's weird about this is also the idea of all of those buzzwords are things that Sony has. They've killed off like 3 projects that had similar descriptions. I mean, none of them were frog type games.
I mean, maybe that's why this one's getting the press, is because someone found out the key to make it work, which was, what if frog type game, and everyone went, that's it. That was the missing component.
They had all these teams that were working on these games, and they fired everybody, but they kept like 3 people from each team, and then they brought them all into a room, and they were just like, frog type. Make it frog type. It's going to turn out that the CEO of Sony is just a frog with a little Monopoly Man hat on. So anyway, I don't know. I can't wait to hear more about what a frog type game is. Let's see. And then last, we got a couple more here. I think it's kind of an interesting thing. Starbreeze Studios has managed to purchase back the rights to Payday 3 from PlayOn Entertainment. Okay. So this is one of those things where they developed it, PlayOn published it. I don't even know this, but Payday 3 has been a colossal failure. It's been one of the things like City Skylines 2 they've been trying to get. Like if you look at this is just currently playing the game numbers, and at the top is like Payday 2 has like 20,000 and Payday 3 has like 600. Because it launched in a really bad state. And so they've been kind of trying to fix it a little bit over time. See our previous conversation. Yeah. But that's one of those games where you have a hard time if everybody goes back to playing Payday 2 and you're like, no, seriously, you guys, come play Payday 3. It's good now, I swear. Like, that's what you said the first time. I'm going to play the game that I know is good right now. But I think what this means is that they have a little bit more financial flexibility because they're not answering to a publisher. Yeah, they've taken on all the responsibility themselves, probably with additional debt and stuff. And they're still associated with PlayOn for some of the publishing stuff. But I don't know. The longer that this generation goes on, the more I'm like, stockholders and publishers can be real problems if they're like, they're not always a problem, but they can be real. They can really stymie stuff and breathe down people's necks in a way that makes it counterproductive. So. And then let's see, last but not least, before we take a break, I didn't have anywhere to put this story, John, so I just put it at the end. So we got the big Apple versus Epic case. Where
this is over Fortnite, right?
Yes. So the backstory here is that Epic put a mechanism in Fortnite that allowed people to buy V-Bucks directly from Epic, bypassing the Apple Store, so they didn't get their 30% cut.
Yeah.
Apple delisted Fortnite from the App Store and said you can't put Fortnite on here. Epic took them to court and said you're not allowed to dictate how we take money from our customers. These are not your customers. These are our customers. The update here is that apparently I've never seen anything like this before, but this is from the judge in this case, Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers, ruled that like effective immediately, Apple has to let anybody accept money from apps without going through the Apple Store. This was already ruled on a little while back, but they had appealed. There are some kind of scathing comments in here because it appears that so it appears that they went back to that Apple went back and decided that they would not comply with the previous judge's orders and just not do what they told them in the hopes of getting this, finding a loophole or getting it turned over on appeals or something like that. This is a quote from the judge. Vice President of Finance Alex Roman outright lied under oath. Internally, Philip Schiller had advocated that Apple comply with the injunction, but Tim Cook ignored Schiller and instead allowed Chief Financial Officer Luca Maestri and his finance team to convince him otherwise. Cook chose poorly. And you know, I have no real allegiance to Apple. I don't really care. I think that everybody should be able to do whatever the fuck they want to. I think that these storefront things are kind of a racket.
Yeah.
But I especially don't like the way that Apple handles their stuff. Like, they're very restrictive. And I hate the idea that they gatekeep all of the apps on the device. Like, you know, I have a PC. I install whatever the fuck I want to on my PC. I don't need Microsoft's permission to put shit on my PC. If I want to install spyware on my PC and ruin it, that's my fucking business. If I want to run 8 copies of Baldur's Gate 3, that's not your, you know, you're not there to tell me what to do. I'm going to do what I want. So I'm a big fan of kind of like freedom of being able to use your devices the way that you want to use them, as opposed to in the way that a big company tells you to. Mostly because I can't think of any upside. Can you think of any reason why? I mean, they've said security, but then like...
So the biggest thing that I've heard in defense of Apple in this, and it's a weak argument, but it's parental controls.
Okay.
You go onto the Apple account that's on the kid's tablet or phone, and you password lock it or do whatever so that if they try to buy something, it has to go through the store, and you can prevent them from buying a bunch of stuff.
Makes a certain amount of sense.
If they can buy it in app away from that parental lock, they can maybe buy stuff that you don't have control over as a parent.
Sure.
And one of the things that Apple has said is like, well, no, the reason it has to go through the store, aside from us getting a cut of it, you know, well, it's only fair that we get a cut because, you know, we're offering this protection,
right,
is to prevent you know, some kid from having mommy's credit card and submitting a purchase. Now, whether or not that's actually something that is happening or needs to be stopped, I don't know. I don't have kids.
It seems
I just know that that's the big argument that Apple was using for a lot of this.
Sure.
I don't agree with it necessarily, but I don't disagree with it necessarily.
I understand it's an interesting argument, but after, like, especially because I'm a gamer, right?
Yeah.
I'm real sick of like everybody has to be restricted so that my kids don't do something stupid.
Yeah.
Like I'm a kind of your kids are your problem. And most of the stuff, it's kind of like whenever they talk about, I don't know, I have a real bee in my bonnet about kids because it's like the PlayStation, the Xbox, the Switch, most of your tablets, most of your phones already have huge parental controls, right?
Yeah.
Like you just have to use them. They take work on your part, and that the rest of us who do not have children should not have to have a worse time because your
Agreed.
little monsters can't keep their fingers off the V-Bucks button. So
Yeah.
But it is, I mean, it is something to think about. I don't know. Hopefully this whole system will get busted wide open and we'll get a little bit more free ecosystem. But with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we got trailers. Ready, John?
Woo.
Trailers.
I'm ready.
And we're back.
Yes.
And it's time for the trailers. It's time for the trailers, John. Are you ready for the trailers?
I am ready.
I said some hesitation in your voice.
So ready.
Some hesitation in your voice. Our first trailer this week is for Elden Ring Night Rain. This is an overview trailer that kind of got into how the game works and some of the character stuff. You said you watched a little bit of this.
I did. I watched a little bit of it, and I read some stuff, and then also watched some other first looks things from IGN before I actually found this trailer.
Yeah. It's funny. A lot of this information I think I already knew, and it's because I watched like Vati Vidya impressions and like some other Soulsborne YouTubers. So a lot of this information, like they had like a closed event a few months back that gave a lot of information
Didn't get
about the
invited
stuff.
to that either, huh?
I didn't get. I don't.
Man, what is up with that?
They're not patrons. They haven't gone to patreon.com/rage. Like they don't know the depths and breadths of my dumbass knowledge of this franchise. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, this is very different. This is not being made by Miyazaki. He's like producer on it. This is like a spin-off thing. Anything strike you as you watched it? Actually, the big question I think is whether I know that you've been sticking to Game Pass recently, but I know that you've also played a lot of the FromSoft games.
Yeah.
Any interest in this?
I mean, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the fact that it's multiplayer kind of is a turnoff.
Yeah.
A little bit of a turnoff, but also the what is it? The battle royal ring that closes in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kind of weird.
Yeah, well, I think a part of that is that the entire map is open and that you have a time limit of 3 days to power up before you fight the end boss in your run. And they have to have a way to keep you from just scouring the entire map for hours and hours. Everybody has said that I've listened to that has done like preview footage of this has said it's fast. It's like way faster. Like you don't like when you hit the bonfires, it auto levels you. Like you don't choose your stats. Like your stats are designated by the class that you're using.
Yeah, that I kind of figured from what little I saw is that you are not going to be setting stats and stuff. You're gonna whatever class you choose, that's how you're gonna play the game.
Yeah,
which I thought was very cool. I've only seen 2 of the classes so far. Which one is the bow and arrow guy?
Oh yeah,
which the fact that they completely reworked how that works is very interesting.
Yeah, no, they actually went over the classes here. The Nightfarers.
Yeah, the Nightfarers. That's the word I was trying to look for.
Yeah. And they're all kind of a little different. There's the archer that is like a long range character. There's this kind of this Birdman that's more of like a defensive character. There's one guy he's got kind of like a parrying shield, the Wilder, that is like built for parrying, but then also has like this grappling hook that you can yank people in, or you can yank them to other things with. And then there's kind of a thief-esque character, kind of a mage thief that is able. The Duchess is a very interesting character because they have an ability that you can pop every so often that basically like you can replay the last 2 seconds of damage.
Oh.
So like if somebody takes like a big critical hit, you can basically redo that hit a second time. They also can turn invisible. There's like a super heavy chonker guy, the Raider that we found out. This kind of like Viking-ish character. that has like, he can just make like a giant stone pop up out of the ground that you can use to get height, and you can also use as it's like got buffs. And there's a recluse who's like with their magic user.
Yeah, I did like that the archer has a little bit of almost a parkour element where you can like run up walls.
Everybody can do that.
Oh, everybody
can do that. Yeah, that's part of the whole thing, is the idea of being able to pop way up in the air and like mantle and double jump and stuff as a way. That's like that's the concession that they've made to the whole like closing ring of fire thing. Is that it's like, it's so fast.
Also, like when a player goes down, you can revive your teammate by attacking them.
Yes.
Which is interesting. And again, going back to archers, that makes them really important because they can attack from a distance.
Right. No, that's one of the things. The bird guy has an ability where he goes way up in the air and then comes down with a big slam attack.
Yeah.
And it was funny because when they were first talking about it, they were talking about using that as a way to bring your party back to life, because that damage is also healing to your party. So, but yeah, it's interesting. It's got a lot of weird experimental stuff going on.
Yeah, like there's a lot of interesting stuff that actually makes me intrigued by it, and I want to play it. I'm curious if it will have cross-play, or if it'll just be like, if you're on Xbox, you're stuck with Xbox. If you're on,
I think Elden Ring itself has crossplay. If I'm not mistaken,
I don't know.
I think that it will. There's also two other characters. There's a character that they showed off later on that appears to be like that hasn't been officially released yet. It's like a parrying character, and then it's not entirely clear. But then there's this woman kind of with like a harp, this kind of like a very light, airy kind of character. They talked about, that your base is going to be a round table hold, but it's kind of a different version of the round table hold. There's going to be like permanent unlocks that you can get between runs. One of the things that I don't know if I had seen before was there's like a jar merchant. And I was looking at, it's like one of the little jars, and you get like currency during your runs. And they talked about, like in this thing, I had to stop it. There's like a thing that the character buys that then like seems like a loot box. Okay. Where then when they open it, it opens a bunch of different randomized gems. I also pointed this out to you. I really like that they've got some cosmetics in the game. And then so some of them are just kind of like little color schemes for your individual characters, but then some of them are like references to previous FromSoft games.
Yes.
One of the things I think is interesting, because it seems like I've obviously been following this way more obsessively than you have.
Yes.
Is that bosses from previous Souls games are in here.
Oh,
okay. They've shown off like there's like a double-headed spider from Dark Souls 2 that is they showed off as a field boss in the game.
Okay.
So it's like, it's not Limgrave, it's Limveld. It's like an alternate, it's kind of a remixed alternate version of Elden Ring.
And I think where the world actually remixes every time you play it, so it's never the same world.
I don't know, like it seems like the geometry is similar, but then there's like environmental issues and then like environmental stuff. Basically, I think that one of the reasons, I've said this before, but one of the reasons this game exists is because randomizers for Souls games are very popular. Games that basically randomize all of the enemies on the map. So you may go to, like in the beginning of Elden Ring, there's like a little fort that has guys in it. And sometimes you'll have like a randomizer where Melania is the boss of that fort instead of 45 hours later in the game. And so I think what part of this is the idea of taking some of the things that people like about those mods.
Okay.
Co-op that is not just boss co-op, randomizers, remixes, and putting different stuff in the game, and it's putting them in here, putting them into a canon game instead of making them mod sets. So
yeah, like I said, I actually am interested in playing this, and there's a part of me that's like, oh man, getting a game that's like me, you, and I don't know who else playing it would actually be really fun. But at the same time, I'm also like, I don't really play multiplayer games.
Yeah.
So
no, I don't know. No, I swear to God, it's the fucking monkey paw, man. It's like man, I really wish there was a little bit more Elden Ring in my life. And it's like, there is, but it's a multiplayer game. And it's like,
do we know how much the game's going to cost when it comes out?
I don't. Let's see. It's like coming out it comes out in the last week of this month. So it's not, it's like 2 or 3 weeks away. Night Rain cost. Let me see. It might have on Steam. It's $40. Yeah. Then there's a deluxe edition for $55, but it's $40 on Steam.
Okay, that's not bad. Like that's
it's
better.
Not a full priced.
Yeah, like I might be inclined to actually check to see. I might be inclined to actually pick that up on my Xbox.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think it's an interesting idea. Like, I like the fact that FromSoft hasn't gone. There's a lot of game companies that get stuck into, this is what we do now, is we just make this one type of game over and over again.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that it's like, because no microtransactions, no planned right at the moment, no planned like big DLC expansions. They're like, no, this is like you pay $40. It's not a live service game. It is an online game, but it's not like we're going to keep adding stuff to nickel and dime you. You're going to buy loot boxes or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. Good stuff. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it looks different enough that I'm intrigued by it. And,
I don't think,
and I want to play it, but at the same time,
yeah. It's you and I don't tend to play multiplayer games all that often, and so the idea of like it's Elden Ring but multiplayer. But for me, I'm like, man, all you motherfuckers are going to copy this game for Christmas because I got to play with somebody.
You know what? If you want to buy me a copy, I will play this. I will play it with you.
I don't want to play this game with randos. I want to play it with people that are okay with me being a crazy person. So.
Yeah. No, buy it for me. Sure.
There's also lore. They talk about how there's like, lore unlocks. You'll get like missions where if you go do stuff, it'll unlock the lore for the various characters. And then I don't know if I got all the way to it, but there's like throwback costumes for like the Dark Souls 2 protagonist. And Solaire is there, and I like that Solaire is the Birdman because I wanted to play as the Birdman. If the Birdman has a Solaire costume, I'm just going to wear it. I'm just going to wear it the entire time, and nobody's going to fucking stop me. So,
you do you, man.
I'm doing me. I'm gonna. Let's see. Speaking of big crossover medieval weirdness, we got a second. We had a comic trailer, but we got a gameplay trailer for the Diablo 4 X Berserk crossover. Speaking of completely unnecessary things that nobody asked for,
maybe you didn't.
I don't know. Are you interested in Berserk cosmetics for your Diablo 4
No, because I don't play Diablo 4, but
I don't know.
I actually think it is kind of cool though.
A lot of these characters are the bad guys in Berserk.
There's only one good guy in Berserk, and he's not that good.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I guess it makes a certain amount of sense in the all dark fantasy thing. But the main thing that's like a weird issue with this is that there's 4 different skins and there's a pet that you can get, and they've all got like, markings and player emblems and shields and back stuff and yada yada yada. It's like $25 per cosmetic set.
Jesus.
And due to the way there's no like bundle, well, let's see. Let me make sure that I got that right. Bundle prices vary between $2,500 and $2,800. Basically, somebody did the math, and if you want everything, it'll be about $150 for all of that stuff.
I don't care.
That's what I keep saying is like, hey, you say what you will about Fortnite, but at least that shit, it's like everything costs what it costs. Like, I feel like everything that Blizzard puts into their games, they always cost too much. It's always like,
I agree.
Do you want to give us like $50? And it's like, no, I for one skin, no. And also, I don't know. I'm not a crossover guy. I like the vanilla skins for video games, so I'm not inclined to be like, I'm going to make my Guts character. I've got Elden Ring and Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3. You can make a Guts character in every one of those fucking games.
Yeah, I have.
They're good. They're good. So I don't know.
Good builds.
It's weird. But I guess the real question, John, is that weirder than the fact that Destiny 2 is going to be getting an update. Is going to get a crossover with the Star Wars.
I mean, it's
a little.
Yeah,
I mean, they're both kind of on brand, right? Like, Dark Fantasy, Diablo 4, Destiny 2 is going to be getting a bunch of like actually legit, just like Star Wars ass. You could be Darth Vader skins and like lightsabers, and there's like a Grievous skin over here.
So you're just all the bad guys.
I think so. I don't know. I mean, like, we don't have the full information just yet, but there's also going to be like it's in a December update, and it's going to have lightsabers and like a new planet that looks like Tatooine, and I mean, I guess it's a tie-in. Yeah, this is the same trailer to that like Renegades thing. I don't know, man. I'm the wrong person to ask about this stuff because I'm fucking sick of Star Wars and I don't like Destiny 2. So
yeah, I don't play Destiny 2. So
are you sick of Star Wars?
No, but I also haven't really been like watching a lot of Star Wars.
You get down that Andor season 2?
No, I did. I haven't watched any of Andor.
That's what
I haven't even seen season 1.
It's supposed to be the good one.
I know. I've heard that.
Yeah,
I haven't watched Skeleton Crew. I haven't watched.
They just put out a new one.
I haven't watched any of the Ashoka stuff.
First 2 episodes were in Fortnite. They just put out. There's like a new animated show, and the first 2 episodes premiered inside of Fortnite. It's
weird.
Like, that's weird. Let's see. From there, we got this is something I am excited for. We got official archive/O2 disruption trailer for Tron Catalyst.
Okay,
This is the Mike Bittell makes Hades, basically, inside of the Tron universe.
Published by Devolver Digital.
Oh yeah. This one was interesting because they basically showed how like you could change over the course of runs. Like the specific example was the first time you try to go into the city after you've gotten your freedom, it'll set off like a big alert, and then all of the guards will be hostile to you for your entire run. But then like if you discover the right like people and upgrades and stuff, then later on when you come back you might be able to slip in without instantly aggroing everybody. I don't know. I'm huge fan of Tron.
I love Tron. I like Tron Evolution or whatever the hell the movie was called.
Oh yeah.
I even liked the Tron video game that came out of that.
The Monolith one, Tron 2.0, or the Mike Bittell, it was kind of like a visual novel.
No. The one that came out on the 360 that was for the movie.
I don't remember that one.
It was actually decently good. Like, it wasn't like the best game ever, but it was decently good. Like it was actually a prequel to
it's Tron Evolution.
Yeah, Tron Evolution. Yeah.
Okay. I do not remember it.
Yeah, but and then the cartoon, like I really like the cartoon show. Yeah, no, that's it.
Oh, I kind of remember this. Third-person action game?
Yeah.
Huh. I just remember that Tron 2.0 game from Monolith from a million years ago.
Oh, yeah. No, that one, I actually liked that game too. But
yeah.
But yeah, like I love the Tron movies. I'm kind of mixed feelings on the Ares, which is the movie that's coming out.
Oh yeah,
mostly because I don't like Jared Leto.
Okay,
and he's the lead star of the movie. But from word is that we may not. This is the only way we were getting another Tron movie was if this movie was made, because the previous movie ended on kind of like a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
and there was supposed to be a Tron 3. But it didn't happen. And then Ares is kind of coming out, and apparently if it does well, we might actually get a Tron 3.
Seems like a no-brainer, like, to make movies that are inside of computers. I mean, we got the Emoji Movie and Wreck-It Ralph and shit. Like, it seems like you should be able to make a Tron movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Well, let's see. From there, we got a Combat Basics trailer for the new Demon Ex Machina Titanic Scion game.
Okay.
This is a sequel to a Switch mech game that is also out on the PC. I was like, I'd rather just
never played it.
I'd rather play Armored Core, to be honest. But this is kind of interesting. I mean, it just kind of talked about the different types of weapons that you'll use. The mechs seem smaller. I don't know if the monsters are just huge or if the mechs are not are they're more like suits than like Gundams.
Yeah, good point.
Like I get more of like an Anthem vibe and less of like an Armored Core vibe off of this.
I can see that in the trailer that you're playing.
Yeah. But I don't know. It seems like they talk about kind of like, there's some enemies that are more prone to energy weapons and some enemies that are more prone to like kinetic weapons and kind of going through that stuff. I don't know. I'm somewhat interested because I'm a big skank for mech games.
Yes.
Like, I love them. But they also make a lot of bad ones, John. So
They do.
like I've tried playing this game, the Demon Ex Machina franchise, like 3 or 4 times, and I'm just like, it's too basic. Like it's too generic, and So
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna be a Switch 2 game. I think that it's coming out September of this year, which I thought it was later than I thought, because I remember seeing that. But let's see. After that, we got the Revenge of the Savage Planet launch trailer. This is an early access thing.
Because that comes out in like a week
out
or
now.
2. Oh, it is out now?
Yep, it's out now. It was in early access earlier this week, but it's out as of recording this. Today's the 8th. It's on Game Pass today.
Oh,
I checked
okay.
earlier
For some reason,
today.
I thought it came out on Game Pass next week.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the co-op online sequel to comedy adventure game Return to the Savage Planet or whatever, with full co-op. We got Dave the Diver DLC, and the trailer just shows the main character kind of dying in a bunch of horrific ways and kind of going through the planet and stuff. I really like the first one of these.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. Didn't beat it, but I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I managed to get all the way to the end of that one. This one's third person. I don't know. I'm going to see about playing it co-op, because it seems like they want you to play it co-op quite a bit. So, but yeah, I don't know. Looks good. It's on Game Pass. Check it out.
I will.
Oh yeah. We don't have time to talk about Code Violet.
Okay.
This is a game. There's a 20-minute thing. This is a game from the people that made a game called Quantum Error. That was like a firefighter Dead Space game on a
I vaguely
space station.
remember it.
Yeah. And this one's like a Dino Crisis game where you've got a lady and you're shooting dinosaurs and you're sneaking around and stuff. It looks awful, and I don't know why I put it on here. Don't play it.
Probably because Matt Frank is going to be in love with this game and want to play it.
Yeah, probably. Should play that Creepy Dinosaur Redneck Mansion 3. Dead by Daylight has a new expansion called Overgrown. It was weird. I had to like look into this a little bit to figure out what was going on. This isn't like new. It's like a new area that's very flower themed, but like the killers and are the same killers from the main game. They just have like new skins that kind of cover them in like flowers, and so there's kind of like a weird, and the characters all have these kind of midsummer looking flower crown outfits, and so I think it's kind of just what it really reminded me of is that new Silent Hill.
Okay.
It's kind of got the flower vibes to it, the kind of rot and decay plus flowers type of thing. I don't know. It's a very horrifying trailer, but then I looked it up and there's nothing incredibly new in there. But if you're a Dead by Daylight fan, there you go. New stuff. Let's see. From there, we got the launch trailer for Among Us 3D, which appears to just be Among Us, but in 3D. You can't hear it, John, but this is a parody of that Halo trailer where they were going through the little diorama. It's got the same music and everything, and as I understand it, some of these poses and little tableaus are the same. Like I can
see it.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with that. I wasn't familiar enough until I went down to the comments and saw that people were talking about how clever it was. It's interesting that Among Us is able to just put out a different version that's not 2D. I don't know if I'm gonna play Among Us though, so but yeah, that's out now. What was it, the Believe trailer?
Yeah,
is that what it's called for Halo?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see, another goofy game news. We got the reveal for a game called Suspectives that is part of the Jackbox Party Pack 11.
Okay.
That is coming out. This is a game where one person is a crime, or one person is a criminal, and then everybody gets asked questions, and they have to kind of come to a consensus about who's a criminal using the kind of the phone stuff, much like a lot of the other ones. Seems like seems like somewhat Among Us-esque, right? Where you're trying to suss out who the guilty party is. I like the animation for it. I think it's pretty cute. I don't know. I haven't played a Jackbox Party Pack since 4 or something like that. So who can say? Let's see. The throwback news, we got Desktop Survivors 98. I don't know. I was kind of tickled by this. This is like a replica of an old Windows 98 desktop, and you play as the cursor, and then there's stuff coming at you, and it's got a bunch of retro power.
It was a sword that looked like Clippy.
Yeah. And then you can kind of play the entire thing, if you could full screen on your own desktop and play it. It does it kind of goes kind of crazy in some places, but they've got these little retro apps that come up that make it look like an old Windows 98 machine. Looks pretty fun. I don't know. I think I remember seeing that it got pretty good reviews on Steam.
Yeah.
I'm always a sucker for a replica of an old desktop. Let's see. Speaking of throwback stuff, we got the launch trailer for Captain Blood. This is a game 20 years in the making, John. This is an Xbox 360 game that got put on the shelf and never got released. And then years later, they managed to put together a release package for it. They put it out this week.
Okay.
Started in 2003, and it is early 2000s AF. It's chunky pirate men, and it's got kind of God of War style graphics, and it's got quick time events, and it's got all kinds of retro stylings, a lot of really cheesy blood and little turret sections. I played some dojos for this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you played this?
Yes.
Is it any good?
It's okay.
All right.
It's got some really irritating mechanics that we would have put up with back in the old days, but we wouldn't now. There's these ranged enemies that will shoot you and stun you and then run away from you, and as soon as you get anywhere close to them, they run away from you again, so they're incredibly hard to pick off. Also, the checkpoints are very far apart, so you can end up losing. We got to the end of this really difficult fight, and I got killed, and it was we have to start over from the beginning and the whole thing, which is a shame because I love the way it looks, and it's all super cheesy and early 2000s is shit, but it could have used a little bit, it could have used more checkpoints. It could have been a little bit more forgiving. You know how some games, it feels like the game wants you to play it.
Yeah.
And this game is it seems like it wants to be a challenge, even if it's I don't want to be challenged by you, Captain Blood. I just want to blow through the game and have a good nostalgic time. So, let's see. We also got a big character trailer. I've been keeping my eye on this game called Blades of Fire. This is Mercury Steam's next game. So they're the ones that did the Metroid 2 remake, as well as they did a Castlevania side scroller game for the 3DS. They made Metroid Dread was theirs. So I've been I keep an eye on them. This game is confusing to me because it doesn't look very good. It's a third-person action game where you play as a blacksmith. And it seems like it has a really big emphasis on making weapons. Your weapons will break, and then you're trying to build new custom weapons. I don't know. It's kind of third. It also looks a little retro, right?
Yeah.
It seems like a PS4 game more than a current generation game. I don't know though. This company has had a pretty decent reputation recently, even if this looks really kind of weirdly amateurish and is a sequel or a spiritual successor to another game that was a throwback that came out a few years back. I don't know. It's challenging because I see something here, but I'm not entirely sure if it's any good.
Okay.
I don't know. Everybody should go take a look at the trailer and let me know if you see anything. Let's see. I don't know why that. Yeah, we're skipping this one. We got the release date trailer for something that I am interested in. This is a P-Cube game called Chronicles of the Wolf that appears to just be a throwback to Castlevania 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, this looks like Castlevania 4.
Yeah.
Almost.
It's like a 2D side-scrolling pixel art game where you're playing as like a legendary kind of mythical beast hunter. It's got a day-night cycle where at night the enemies get stronger. You've got a bunch of upgrades. It looks like it's got very kind of Castlevania, like the 3DS Castlevania, like taking powers from spirits and then using them. There's just something about it. I've seen a few trailers for this before. I don't know if have you seen this game before?
No.
It looks like it's almost exactly the game that I want, but like some of the pixel sprites are a little stiff.
Yeah, yeah.
They seem a little too tall in some places. Some of the enemies don't seem to have as much animation as I would expect. I think it's maybe not fair that I'm comparing this to Castlevania games, but it's a shame because it's like 80% what I want to play in a 2D side-scrolling game.
I can see that.
And also it's got some Bloodstained crossover stuff.
Oh, well, that also explains some of it.
Yeah. I don't know. June 19th, this is coming out. I'll probably give it a look. I don't know. It could end up being something where I'm just going to get used to the way that it looks, and then it's going to be really fun. I am a sucker for Castlevania games. So. Yeah. Let's see. I put this on the list because Double Dragon Gaiden Rise of the Dragons has some new characters, and one of them's called Jeff.
Hey!
And he's got a knife, and he's stabbing people with it. So the Jeff and Abore, two new characters. They've been adding all kinds of crazy characters to Double Dragon Gaiden for a while now. I think they added all the bosses, and they added a bunch of different new characters that you can get and unlock. But yeah, the current, and this is free DLC, is out right now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Did you play Gaiden at all?
No.
Oh. Interesting, because it's like a kind of a roguelike almost, where you get upgrades at the end of every stage, and then you could choose the direction that you want to go through the stage. So definitely looks better than that current Double Dragon that they're making. Let's see. I put this one on the list, John, because I thought you might really like it.
Okay.
This is the Shadow Syndicate. This is a hard-boiled detective game in a world full of like anthropomorphic animal people in a real super noir style. And I was watching it and I was like, it looks like it's got a bunch of like dialogue trees where you're investigating stuff and you've got to like look for clues and you've got to interview people. But then about halfway through the trailer, it shows that it's also like a kind of a stealth action game where you can slow down time and you can like take people out and there's like shooting.
Weird.
Yeah, something I didn't necessarily expect. I feel like a lot of times when I see games like this, I expect them just to be like talkie games, and then halfway through this trailer is some pretty decent action going on in here.
Yeah, it looks cool.
And
black and white color scheme.
Yep. And really brutal. Like these very brutal takedowns of like shooting other animals in the face with machine guns and stuff. I don't know. Could end up being no good, but it's also like some of the art, like in the key art that they're using, kind of has like almost a Mike Mignola style to it with this kind of heavy, dark shadows and stuff. But yeah, kind of interesting. Next year coming out, I guess.
Okay.
So
I hope to know more.
Gotta get going faster. We got the launch trailer for Morai. This is like kind of a top-down action, kind of an ARPG Diablo-ish game.
Okay.
But then it's also got a lot of like weirdness to it. Like it kind of reminds me of Little Nightmares if it was like some kind of brutal action game.
Okay.
I think it's got a lot of like fantasy elements and mythology and stuff to it. I thought this was originally a Devolver game, but it's actually Good Shepherd that's putting it out. But I don't know. I'm interested because it just looks so goddamn weird that I kind of want to know what it's all about. So, and then let's see. I think we're wrapping up with a few things. 10 Tempest Rising. We got a trailer that just had the accolades of this. I really do like this game quite a bit, and I think that people that are interested should check it out because Slipgate Ironworks just basically made a new Command & Conquer game.
Okay.
Like right down to the briefings where there's a person talking directly to you, like in the old Command & Conquer series. They've got basically a GDI ripoff and a Nod ripoff, and then a bunch of weird elements that are coming up all over the globe. I played a Patreon video for this with Michael. Unfortunately, RTSs don't make for the best RageSelect videos.
No, they don't.
But I really like this game, and I really hope that it does well. Had you run into this one before?
No, I hadn't run into it.
Do you do RTS?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of PC exclusive, right? Like there's been some RTSs on consoles, but they just don't really work quite as well when you don't have a mouse. Maybe they'll port it to Switch too. You can play with the Switch mouse. So, and then last but not least, we got a release date for YouTubers Life 3 streamed together! Exclamation point.
Yay.
Yeah, I don't know. I only put this on the list because I was just recently been releasing the old Patreon videos.
Yeah.
And Sarah and I played YouTubers Life 1 for a Patreon video back into olden days.
Yeah.
So May 22nd is when that's coming out. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a video on it. All right. And then let's see. Let's wrap it up with a few things here. For you, John, we have the confirmed list of stuff that's coming this month on Game Pass.
Okay.
I'm sure you might have already seen this, but some pretty good stuff on here. Dredge, as you mentioned, is already out. So is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Dungeons of Hinterberg and Flintlock Siege of Dawn, I think, are coming back because if I'm not mistaken, both of those were already on.
Well, so I asked about that, and someone said the case was that they were on Game Pass Ultimate, and now they're also being moved to standard,
right? I keep forgetting about the tiers. So, yeah. Also, Battlestar Tactics was also on that Ultimate list and is now moving back to standard. Revenge of the Savage Planet, as we mentioned, is out this week. I was interested to know if you were going to check out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants Unleashed is now on Game
It's
Pass.
downloaded. I haven't played it yet, though.
Okay. That's the game has like Persona elements in it. Which
Really?
is really weird. It's got like social links that you do in between missions. It's like little generated areas, and then in between you kind of level up. It was a very strange game. Michael and I were very taken aback when we played it. Let's see. Vermintide 2 is coming on the 13th. The big one, of course, is Doom the Dark Ages is on the 15th. Culebra and the Souls of Limbo is on the 16th. I don't know what that is. And then on the 20th, we got Firefighting Simulator and Police Simulator, two of the big simulator games. What is it? Culebra. Oh, that's right. It's like a funky. I don't actually know what it is. It's like a Mexican folklore game, I guess. Like,
Okay.
the characters kind of have like Dia de los Muertos paint on, and you play as like a skeletal dragon, kind of running around and doing stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of this one before, which is weird because I've heard of just about everything. Let's see. Do you know about Deadlock, the Steam kind of third-person MOBA game that was like the worst kept secret they've ever had for a while?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
But I'm not like super.
It was basically it's been in invite-only beta for like a year.
Okay.
But there was like Steam wasn't coming down on people who were making videos for it, so there were invites out there, but then people were just making videos of it. Steam didn't have a store page for it for a long time. Recently, I don't know. So this is a little bit of insider baseball. So it's still in beta, but then recently there was a YouTuber that was out there that was like streaming and logged into a server, and they showed that there were a bunch of heroes in there that had not yet been announced. So inside of their non-public beta, apparently there's a second beta that's happening for characters that have not been released into the beta
Weird.
yet. And it's like, well, okay. Everything I've seen of this game makes it look really fun. I'm like, Valve, man, just announce it. Like, give me access. I'd be more than happy to try it out. But I guess they're taking their time Nobody can make Valve do what Valve doesn't want to do. We didn't have a lot of release date stuff this week, so it's kind of an interesting thing. There was a Warhammer 40K modder, Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 modder that came out with a mod that was called like the Astartes overhaul that like added a bunch of stuff into the multiplayer and did a lot of retuning in it. And that same person has come out with a new one that's very interesting that ups the player count in co-op to 12.
Okay.
Normally you can play co-op of Space Marine 2 with 3 people. So bring it up to 12 is really interesting.
That's a lot.
Yeah. But then also what's really interesting about it is that the game itself scales. So like there's more enemies and they're harder and they'll like spawn infinitely to like adjust for that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was a thing the modder did or not, but like it's interesting to see that it's able to still work with that many characters.
Yeah.
I watched some videos for it and it seems like absolutely insane. And then I think we're kind of mostly getting to the end here. We got some other stuff. Somebody has modded the Doom armor into the Doomslayer armor into Elder Scrolls 4 as a thing that you can just buy and wear in Elder Scrolls 4.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It works for all the different races in the game and all the different sexes and stuff. And it's nice to see once again that the modding community is doing dumb shit that I very much approve of. Let's see. Here's a sad story. Sackboy has been taken out of the PlayStation logo. Like, you know how during PlayStation it shows like the different, it's kind of like the Marvel logo where it shows different games kind of flash by. One of them used to be Little Big Planet, and apparently this was at the beginning of the Until Dawn movie. Sackboy was taken out. So yeah, too bad.
That's disappointing.
Never a Little Big Planet guy, but like I know a lot of people were. It was sad that they turned off the servers for that. Let's see. This is an interesting one. Somebody in who is the YouTuber that did this? So this YouTuber is Javofo, who is an Overwatch streamer, and they basically started using the Overwatch workshop to make Marvel Rivals characters in Overwatch, because the Overwatch workshop will allow you to do stuff like there's like a third person mod that you can use to make the whole thing third person.
Okay.
So like they started with that. They were using Cassidy, and they started with the Winter Soldier, and they basically like they added in like changing their weapon from hit scan to particle shots.
Okay.
And then they even added in like all their different ultimates and the way that those things work. There was a few different characters.
I didn't even know that was something you could do.
Yeah, apparently it's really flexible to the point where they did this, and they also took Kimiko and made them kind of act like Luna Snow from Marvel Rivals, which I mean, like that is all well and good, but you could just be playing Marvel Rivals. I mean, I don't
Very
know,
much
like, it's
so,
free to play, so but it's an interesting kind of thing to see. Let's see, another Overwatch 2 news. I don't really like Overwatch that much these days, but John, are you familiar with the internet's one gorilla versus 100 men challenge? Blizzard decided to cash in on this, and they basically created like a spectator match that was like one team of only Soldier 76ers versus one Winston who had their HP jacked all the way up, and then every time it was like 10 or 12 or 15 Soldier 76s, and then every time one of them died, it's got a respawn counter of 100 that counts down by one.
Okay.
So they all have their guns. It's just I watched about 5 minutes of it, and it was interesting because it was just, you know, fucking 14 people all shooting one Winston who was just tearing ass across the map, one-shotting everybody. I also seemed like Winston was stuck, might have been only doing their ultimate, where they're doing the kind of the hand slaps and stuff. So it was pretty fun. Where do you weigh in on the one man versus 100 or one gorilla versus 100 men?
Look,
You guys can't see John's eyes roll as hard as humanly possible.
there's a lot of factors that go into this question.
Sure.
That people overlook.
Yes.
Who are the 100 men?
Sure.
What is the status of this one gorilla?
Yep.
How big is this one gorilla?
Sure.
How big are the men?
Mm-hmm.
Are they just normal men?
Yep. Where? What time of day? How long to prepare?
Do the men have weapons? Is it?
Yep.
Is it just their their mitts and nothing else? Just we're gonna go fisticuffs versus gorilla's probably gonna take out most of those men.
Yep. Can like 10 men sacrifice
How old is the gorilla?
Themselves so that the
How
other
old are the men?
Men can make spears out of the trees that are around? Are there trees? Yeah. These intellectual exercises on the internet are because this is. Let's be clear, John. This is just the like putting on air's equivalent of who do you think would win in a fight between Batman and Goku? And it's like none of this is
or who would win a fight, Superman or Homelander? And the answer is Superman because Homelander ain't shit.
Yeah. Oh, I saw that shit on. I saw that shit online.
Any superhero versus Homelander, I'm picking the other superhero because Homelander ain't shit.
Somebody was saying, like, yeah, who would win in a fight between the Sentry and Homelander? And everybody in the comments on Reddit was like, the Sentry wouldn't have to touch Homelander. Like, he would just explode. Like, there would, you guys don't understand because people are watching the Thunderbolts and I don't know, it's got something to do with that. But, all right, 2 more quick stories. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has put out one of those like big stats of what everybody has done in the game. Apparently, the Kingdom Come 2 Deliverance characters have killed over almost 500 million NPCs in the game, which the headline here is, the Black Plague wiped out 55 million people, but the Kingdom Come 2 Deliverance Henry players have killed like 10 times that in their time in the game. I don't know, man. I wasn't killing NPCs as well. I guess I was killing bandits. Maybe that's what it is. But what I thought was even more fun, I don't know if you know this, John, but so there's the character Hans Capon in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Okay.
He's like Henry's spoiled lord that he's supposed to look after.
Okay.
And he's kind of a lovable piece of shit.
Yes.
He's like a real snooty dude. The guy that voices him streams the game, and because it's just his voice, it's like watching he puts on the air of the character while he's streaming the game, and he's become a sort of a minor celebrity streamer because of it, because people enjoy it. Like, there's a story where somebody was like in the chat, they were like, who are you going to try to romance? And he's like, what would you even ask? I'm a narcissist. I'm going to romance myself, of course.
A lot of voice actors end up doing streams of them playing the games that they're part of, and I really enjoy that.
The Baldur's Gate cast did a lot of that, I think.
Yeah, they also did D&D games where they played their characters and stuff like that. But yeah, like the guy that played the robot in Almost Human.
Okay.
I can't remember. I think that was the name of the game, right? That was the
Detroit Become Human.
Detroit Become Human. Thank you.
Almost Human was the Carl
TV
Urban
series.
show.
That was a TV series. It was a good show that got canceled.
I was just like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Detroit Become Human. Yeah, but the guy that played the cop robot, like he would play the game.
Oh, okay.
It kind of got a little bit popular because of that. So yeah.
But yeah, we're going full circle because he put out a tweet where he responded to the Rockstar tweet delaying Grand Theft Auto 6 with in all caps, "We're in it with a shot, game of the year, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2," because one of the unexpected side effects of delaying Grand Theft Auto this year is it's like, well, I guess we have a chance now. There's like a fighting chance that other games might be game of the year.
Did that game come out this year?
Yep, came out in like February.
Oh, wow. I thought that came out in November.
Nope. I'm pretty sure.
No, you're probably right on that. That's why I'm asking, because I legitimately don't remember when that game came out.
Because I played all the way through it. February 4th.
Okay.
I didn't expect to, and it was like 230 hours, and by the end I was like, I just have to, like, I didn't stop playing it because it was good all the way to the end, but I was still just like, motherfuckers, I can't. I've been playing the same video game for 200 hours. I'm trying to beat it. I need to sleep. I need my life back, motherfuckers. But it's a very good game. If it ever goes on sale or you ever get a chance to play it, it's got a little bit of a learning curve to it, but it was very, like, the writing was exceptional in it. And it's very, very good writing. Yeah. And with that, we're done. That's the end of the podcast.
Oh, shit. We're done.
Yeah. Patreon.com/RageSelect. If you want to help us out and kick some bucks, get some bonus videos. If you want to see John and I playing Elden Ring, we're playing the Shadow of the Erd Tree right now. We're about to go into a real spooky part once in the next week or two. Yeah, but other than that, John, do you have anything you'd like to say before we wrap it up?
No.
Anything you'd like to tell the audience?
No, just subscribe to the Patreon. Watch those videos, like you said.
Yeah, there you go. 2 people told you to do it, so now you got to do it.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. Podcast over. That's my new outro. I'm just going to yell podcast over directly into the microphone. Podcast over.